The following podcast episode might contain coarse language and subjects not suitable for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Live from a not-so-sleepy little town comes a podcast for a mobile game. Really? Anyhow, your hosts, a content creator and an artist trying to come up with wild ideas while also talking about whatever. It's the Goosebumps HorrorTown TerrorVision podcast!
Welcome back to another episode of the Goosebumps HorrorTown TerrorVision podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed your Halloween season, although currently right now it's the 26th, so it's going to be a while for us. To get to Halloween, but it's already passed by the time you see this. I believe it would be, I'm going to say the 15th is when you're seeing this. But anyways, with that in mind, I'm Grim.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Yes, hi, I'm Grim. And this is my co-host.
I'm klutzy. I am so klutzy. Hey.
Oh, hey. Let's not be silly.
Well, hi there, Mr. Gideon. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. Want me to make you laugh? I can squeeze my nose and make it honk and say, "Smell you later."
I know where the klutzy thing came from. But where did that joke come from? I swear I heard that from before, but I don't know where the joke was from.
The "smell you later" joke?
Well, no, smell you later. I know. I just meant the beginning bit with "I'm that song, because I could have sworn I heard it.
Okay, so it comes from one of the D&D sessions by a YouTube channel called Legends of Avantris, which I watch religiously on YouTube Shorts.
Okay. Yeah. We're not bothering with the whole thing. It's like, it'd be funnier to watch the whole podcast. Nah. Nah. Yeah.
But this talks about a character by the name of Gideon Cole who accidentally kills a clown with a meatball. And it's a cringe meatball because it's not even real meat. It's one of those pseudo meat replacement type shits. Something vegan.
Oh, cool sandwich. It's like, oh, it's vegan. Oh.
Yeah, it's not even real meat. I was like, I'm so proud of them. I support their life choices.
Yes. Yeah.
He does like the Squidward bite on the sandwich.
Yeah, the little bite. Oh,
it's like, this is pretty good processed sludge, just like Uncle Globo used to make.
Yeah. What, you mean to tell me that Shifty was not to be trusted?
Scurvy Dave.
Scurvy Dave wasn't to be trusted?
Yeah, Scurvy Dave.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so
so Gideon Cole kills a clown named Klutzy. And this, not to be confused with Chuckles, because Chuckles is like the main clown character in the Legend of Avantris universe.
Yeah, he talks like the Mad Hatter.
But Klutzy is a little bit more like a happier version of Chuckles, because while Chuckles is like full of malice and dark backstories, Klutzy is just like a happy-go-lucky character that just wants to make people smile. He's kind of like
normal clown.
If Twisty. It's kind of like you remember Twisty from American Horror Story?
Yes.
So Chuckles would be like, Chuckles would be the aftermath of Twisty, while Klutzy would be like, pre-Twisty.
Yeah. Before the accident. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Klutzy comes back as a ghost and unintentionally annoys Gideon, and to which Gideon would request the help of Chuckles to get rid of.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because the one way that he tries to, I don't remember the whole lot of how he got rid of Klutzy, but like what he would do is like he would have like Klutzy break his nose or break his own nose. It's like, I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze my nose for you, Mr. Gideon, and of like crack noises. It's like, ah, this isn't heaven at all. Chuckles lied to me.
Yeah. Me.
Mr. Gideon,
Yeah.
Mr. Gideon, I don't think I'm in heaven at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways,
That's kind of weird.
yeah. So we digress. So, yeah, funny joke aside. Yeah. So in this episode, we'll be talking about part one to Vampire's magnum opus of sorts. I mean, I would refer to it
Yeah.
as that, right? So, before we get to that part, though, we have some topics to talk about. The first of which is that, I got that goosebumps every time with the with the season two finally being revealed, and I'm glad we've held off
For a
at this
second, I thought
point.
you said dying.
No, I get the goosebumps
Yeah,
every
like
time.
when you were, yeah, every time you were saying that, like time you said every time, for some reason I keep hearing
Every
dime.
time, every time. Anyways,
Like
yeah,
imagine if like Travis Scott was like, I get those goosebumps every 10 cents.
yeah. Another pet, like, yeah, another day, another nickel.
Whole different
Yeah.
song.
It's like a day,
A
another
different
dollar.
song.
More like a nickel. Good one, Squidward. Anyways, so yeah, season two has released, revealed itself officially, and kind of we have more details on what's going on with that. The weird thing about it too is that it basically confirms that the Goosebumps series is basically American Horror Story for kids. I mean, well, for teenagers, let's say, right? But
Young
basically,
adults, if you will.
yeah, babies, not babies, but the joke of yeah, it's this, but for little baby. But anyways, yeah, the reason I say that is because now season two has a title. It's Goosebumps: The Vanishing is what it's called, and it's like American Horror Story. When it first started, it was just known as American Horror Story. But then when season two came along, they specified it's called Asylum, and then it was The Coven, then Freak Show, and et cetera, et cetera. So I think this is what they're going to be
I
doing
love
sometime
show.
here. Yeah. And what's interesting too is that, a lot of people say that, oh, the logo is so generic, right? Like when the first title screen came on, like it did its job. Like it kind of is growing on me, but I can already see from the
Yeah.
trailer that they have the idea of that the Goosebumps logo will always change depending on the season, but it'll still be the same kind of like, it starts to form. So in this version, before the first one, it was more like ink going on paper and it's kind of like making the actual Goosebumps logo. This one, it seems like
Yeah.
that black, weird, venom like symbiote creep tentacle things kind of forming it, right?
Actually, it kind of reminds me of some of the scenes in the trailer. Actually,
Yeah, I think that's what they're going with for that. But yeah.
should we talk about a little bit more about the trailer, or?
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more. So, judging by what we see on the trailer, it seems like just by looking at it, they seem like they've learned their lesson from the first season. They probably talked some criticism. First of which is that instead of 10 seasons, it's going to be 8, which is like good. I mean, 10 was a little too long, but 8 seems like
I
it
mean, I would
might be the.
9, 10 episodes. It's just my problem is that some of them don't exactly fall in line with some of the books, like the
It's too
Horrorland. That
filler.
was like the biggest fucking criticism of them all.
That's the problem too. Like the naming schemes of the episodes was bad because they got a lot of people's different hopes and whatnot. And I love it. One of the
Yeah.
people in the Goosebumps community, like some people are optimistic about it. Like I think me and you are. Like at the end of the day, we eat slop, so even if it's crap, it's like, oh, who cares?
Yeah,
Mmm,
it's like that. Yeah,
smells
it's like
bad,
that
but I
fucking
still eat it.
green plant food slop. It's like that green plant food slop from Stay Out of the Basement.
Exactly, which is speaking of, that's going to be the main book. So before the first season kind of had a mishmash of 5 different stories and with a little focus on Night of the Living Dummy, but not really. This one seems like it's mostly
Yeah.
going to be focusing on Stay Out of the Basements, but with elements of other books, which they've mentioned what are going to be adapted. So I think what they're going to be doing is that the Stay Out of the Basement storyline is going to be the main focus with an original idea. And then the original idea will have elements from these other books, which are The Haunted Car, Monster Blood, The Girl Who Cried Monster, The Ghost Next Door, and Welcome to Camp Nightmare. So those are the books they're adapting. So no egg monsters, no squeezers, no aliens, none of that. So don't
That
overhype
still
yourself
fucking
if
pisses me off
otherwise.
because there's the egg. The egg.
The egg lied to you. It was from the girl who cried monster. Yeah.
Sony lied to me.
Exactly.
Mr.
Exactly.
Gideon, I don't think I'm in Goosebumps heaven after all.
I'm in hell. I'm in Goosebumps hell. Yeah. No, but it's
You're in
interesting. So
Goosebumps hell, you
it
horrendous
seems
clown.
like, yeah, it seems interesting too is that it seems like every season they have that one actor who's been known, like being advertised. Like last year, oh no, not last year, but 2023, it was, what was his name? But no, the guy,
I mean, I like him.
the guy.
I like him. He's
Yeah,
the guy. I know the guy.
I know the guy. He's a good guy. I'm trying to think what the
Yeah,
hell his name is.
he's the best guy.
The best, the only type of guy you want.
He's the best guy.
The best of guys. Justin Long, that's it. Thank God. Thank you.
Yeah.
The website. So Justin Long was the one they advertised mostly because all the other characters, the teenagers, they're basically
suck.
no named, right? So this season they actually have another character which is gonna be David Schwimmer. He's the, I think, the um Dr. Brewer type this time. And from the showing of the trailer, from what I understand, it seems like they've already told that this is going to be taking place in 3 different timelines. So, got the modern day, then we got the 90s, and then we got the 60s. So I think the 90s is going to focus on his brother and the 4 other kids he used to go to with the whole what must have happened, and then 60s probably going to get more elaboration on what's going on as far as things go. I'm thinking there, I can already see some of the elements of why they're picking these particular books. Like Welcome to Camp Nightmare, I can see that it's basically like, how Camp Nightmare was supposed to be like, oh, it's this camp from hell, but really it's actually a training ground type of thing. I feel like
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
like a
same base.
military training ground of
That's
sorts.
what I feel like it's going to be the same base here. That it's basically this bunker they find must be located maybe in a camp or something like that, like kind of like a cabin in the woods style. And they stumble upon this, and this is when they realize that they've been doing something, plant-wise or not, I don't know, but it's something. I mean, they had mentioned monster blood, so
Mostly
maybe,
based on plants, I know that.
yeah, yeah. So that's all we got for so far. It does say it's coming out for January of next year, which is interesting. January the 10th is when it's going to be coming out, which is
Yeah.
which is interesting because you would think usually it would be Halloween stuff, but no, this time they're not doing that. Hopefully this does well that they want to continue with this series because a lot like it's gonna be sucky if they decide to do this season and then that's it, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like but we'll see what ends up happening. I think they want to continue with this because what I've noticed is that a lot of merchandise for Goosebumps is coming out. Like the thing we talked about last time with the Funko Pops that has been confirmed to be actually real. But
Yeah.
from what I think is going on is because ever since Scholastic gave the rights to Sony as far as merchandising goes, that they've been fucking making as most money out of it as possible. So they've been merchandising as hell. It's like, you want to get stuff? Here you go. You go ahead. Yeah, you'll just print us some money,
You
right?
want stuff? I got stuff. I can give you a whole bunch of stuff. All you gotta give me is money.
Merchandising,
You can have a whole
merchandising,
bunch of stuff.
merchandising, merchandising.
Goosebumps the lunchbox. Goosebumps the action figures.
Goosebumps the flame floor. And my
And of
favorite.
course, my
Mm.
favorite. Me.
Stay out of the basement. I love this.
There's the
I
basement.
love this doll.
I know that when Justin Long was first on screen, and
Yeah,
it was
like
like,
I
"Oh,
hope you kids have a
you
great
guys can
summer
stay
here.
here, but there's only one rule."
Yeah,
I was like that moment in Simpsons where it's like, "Come on, Bart, say the
say the
line."
line.
He's like, "Stay
Stay
out of the
in the
basement."
basement.
Yay!
Yay! Yeah, of course. They pointed out. And the thing is, it seems like this one actually is more technology based because it looks like it had a padlock on there. So it's like they made sure it's like, oh, this basement you can't go in there. Despite the fact that
Oh yeah.
you can go under the window there, so it kind of defeats the purpose from what I see
Oh
from.
yeah, because that's the one thing that people didn't have in the fucking 90s was padlocks.
Well, this is
Such
supposedly
advanced
taking
technology.
This is supposedly look, this is supposedly taking place during 2024, I'm assuming. The 90s is going to be more so the backstory to his brother. I'm assuming because I'm just judging it based on the trailer we've got, and it's basically like, oh, this is from my brother. You know, he disappeared, right? And it's probably like showing the legend of four kids who ended up disappearing out of nowhere, hence the Vanishing, right? That's why it's called that. And this is where you're going to find out what's going on, and then most likely it has something to do with this bunker, this secret
Oh,
military bunker.
oh, Grim.
Hmm.
What's the one plant you should be always watchful for? An ambush.
An ambush. That was corny. It's like, yeah, well, I'm allowed to do that.
Like as soon as I
I
heard
love
that, I
it.
was like, "Ah,
Hey, your car's in the way.
you
Why
joker!"
would you do that? Are you crazy, man? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's a definite possibility.
Yeah, I love it. That's
Oh,
what I love about the character. Like they actually have like these actors seem like the picking is good. So they're not like A-list celebrities per se, but you know of them, right? Like definitely.
yeah,
So I feel like that's their fortes. It feels like every season they're gonna have that one actor that you know, but isn't like Jack Black level of fame. But it's like probably I
yeah.
wouldn't say B, maybe B or C list. Like I don't know what would you call Justin Long or Dave and Davis Swimmer.
I would say B-list, honestly, because
B-list, yeah,
he's
because
not
yeah,
like people recognize him, but he's
yeah,
not
because
like that
I
obscure,
recognize
right?
him for being Melman from Madagascar.
Oh,
I know him
speaking
from
of speaking of stay out of the basement. Okay, so like there's like a mobile game or not a mobile game. There's like an MMO I play called Wizard 101, right?
yeah.
And
We've been talking about this for a bunch of times now, but go ahead.
well, this is like in case nobody fucking heard of it, but
In case you
whatever.
didn't watch our
Anywho,
other episodes, how dare you?
yeah, right. In
You
case you
should be
just
into the
wanted to
lore
watch
like that.
this one and haven't watched the other ones, shame.
Yeah, you should be
But
in the lore.
I
Yeah, go watch them and then come back here.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, so I play a game called Wizard 101, which is like a MMO RPG. So anyway, they recently released a horde pack called Freaky Floromancer, and this has a whole bunch of housing items that almost seem almost akin to stay out of the basement.
Yeah,
So you have like weird vines, and this is like a housing item that has like overgrown vines that have like fly traps and eyeballs on it.
yeah,
So like the Freaky Florimancer stuff is it kind of like parodies a little bit of like uh, Little Shop of Horrors, but it definitely has a whole lot of stay out of the basement vibes because there's like one item called the Botanical Flask, which is just like an Erlenmeyer flask with like a smoky green liquid inside. Then there's like the evil watering can and some kind of plant food thing. But the one thing that I thought was actually extraordinary to me was something called the overgrown table, which is just like a little workbench with like a human skull on it with like plant roots and shit coming out of it, and then there's like another plant being entangled into the table with eyes on it and everything. And it's just like a really fucking interesting thing because they also came out with like little flytrap pets and mounds that are based on Little Shop of Horrors, but there was like another item called the Terrible Experiment, which is like this tiny little version of the flytrap pet encased in like a little glass dome.
mm,
So it makes me think that these things are just like experiments from that were conducted on this overgrown table to make these little creatures. And
I
I thought
don't
it was a really interesting thing. So what I did was I had as many of those housing items as possible, and I basically placed them in the basement of my house and basically made it into like a Dr. Brewer lab type thing.
Did you also make sure that you had it so the basement was off limits or something like that? Like you put
Yeah,
like
I had like weird vines act as like because there's no door to the basement. I had to have like weird vines act as like a blockade,
yeah,
and
like
then there's like a big, and then there's like a warning sign right next to the entrance to the basement that says "Keep out,"
yeah,
and it had like a Venus flytrap head with like crossbones.
nice. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
love. I love when people are creative like that. It's just funny, you know. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure
So
people
I
who
thought
visit your stuff go, "Oh, I know what that is." do the Wojak kind of pointing me.
I was telling my friends about like how it was like most likely inspired by Stay Out of the Basement, and they're like, yeah, okay, that's nice. Yep. Oh, really? Interesting. Okay, okay. Like they pretend it's like they pretend to care, but in
Oh,
actuality,
wow,
they're like,
yeah. Oh, good job. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, they obviously don't care. They're not your friends anymore. The
well,
friendship is ruined. Sorry. It's Goosebumps, me, or nothing.
if you can't handle me and my goosebumps, you can't handle me and my everything.
Yeah, we can't be friends no more. Yeah.
I don't know why, but I feel like like for some reason, this month just seems to be centered around "Stay Out of the Basement" for me. I don't know why,
Yeah,
because
I
there's
mean,
also a song I came across too by Andy Negative called "Stay Out of the Basement," and it's a really fucking banger song.
yeah, I can totally see that. I do still like the curly thing you made for me for my Halloween avatar here. Still dig it.
I bet this is just you basically just saying, "Okay, can we stop talking about Stay Out of the Basement now?"
No, no, I was just bringing it up out of random. Like we just like random things every now and then. But yeah,
Okay.
speaking of things about this month, I don't know how would you describe this month so far?
A whole roller coaster of things, honestly.
Yeah, ups and downs and the stuff of
Yeah.
that nature. I'd say this is
Um, it's actually one of the most busiest months for me, to be fair.
for me not so much. It seems to be the most crappy month, and it was a big slap in the face on the first day of October when we got an announcement. For those who don't know, I also do other game like Goosebumps is the main bread and butter, of course. But I also do other games by Pixel, right? And this was one of those realizations. And mind you, I kind of knew this was going to come eventually, and I kind of had a feeling it might happen this year. But I was hoping that maybe, just maybe, they might have extended it. But no, they confirmed that they're actually ending the game as far as this Addams and Mr. Mansion concerned. So the Adams are dead after the end of the year. So no more Adams from them, anyways. But yeah, it's a shame that chapter is going away at that point because I have no idea what the hell Pixar is going to be doing at this point. But now they only have Snoopy and this game, and it's just one of those realizations that this game. It's great that it came back, but you also know that it's probably not going to go back to its heyday as well. And it's kind of like, when is that death day coming? Like you know the pendulum is hanging there and kind of swinging by, but you don't know when exactly it's going to come and hit the game, right? So that little realization that time is coming and time is ticking down to the
You don't
game.
know when the you don't know when the cuckoo clock of doom will chime.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't want to be more goosebumpy at this point, but yeah, the sad realization is at some point this game will go away. Not so much now, though, but it is gonna come up eventually, unfortunately. And we'll
Yeah.
talk about a little bit about the update that just happened recently, and some news about that. Some, and this is the other reason why too, because of this. I used to have like I love this time of year because I love to see what games used to do for Halloween stuff, like whether it be crappy or good. It still don't matter because like you, I like slop, so it's like Halloween's Halloween, right?
Yeah.
So I like The
Yeah.
Simpsons. I would like Addams, Goosebumps and stuff of that nature. But the sad reality is, Simpsons is dead, so that game's going offline. Like it's going off the store as of the end of October, like as of the end of Halloween, it's like gone from the shop, but it's not going to be dead until next year in January the 25th, I think. But then this game is going to be up and running until the end of the year, and then on January 1st is when they take everything offline because that's when their agreement goes bye bye. So
All right.
they obviously must have a reason why they stopped it, and this also confirms a theory I had before. Earlier this
Okay.
year, I used to had a complaint where there was a guy who was doing the content director for this game, and we didn't know what happened to him. He just kind of disappeared, and I found out he was no longer working for the company. I think he got laid off because he also was in charge of doing the match 3 puzzles, and the only match 3 puzzles they had going on was for the Adams. And it just so happened he got laid off around the time in February. or January. So this was something they knew at the beginning of the year. So something tells me that
So he got laid. He participated in like a match 3 game.
yeah, so he was the one. No, match three. You know how there's a design, like you know how people are designed to do certain things, and he was the designer for the match three puzzles. So he was in charge of making those puzzles, the layouts, and how it should look, and how it functions, and stuff like that. You know
Really?
that. Yeah. So that was when he was. That's what he was brought on to do originally, right? And then eventually he ended up applying for the position for the content director for this game, and that's what he did. But the reason I feel like they laid him off was because this game, like, they have a lead director now for the company, and honestly, they look at it and go cost efficiency. So it's like, well, he's not doing anything besides this game, and this game doesn't really, it's not having content every month. So, lay off. That's a sad reality because it's like he's not getting fired. He didn't do anything bad. It's just they don't have any work. So sorry. That's what I think happened
Bad
to
for
him
like
because that
people
came
who
out of
work at.
nowhere for him. All right, and it does suck, but that's the sad reality of the gaming industry, right? It's not as major. This is a small company still, but again, they're trying to make this series work because they're trying to do as much minimum people to function this game so that they can still have a good profit margin because they still have to do a percentage to um, the I guess the copyright holder in this case, Sony Pictures or I don't know, either of the two. But yeah, it's a
I
sad
thought it was
reality.
Sony.
Yeah, the sad reality of thinking about this type of stuff because it is eventually going to happen. But it seems like they're doing all they can to make sure that this game still stays alive as much as possible. I don't know what the agreement was originally that they got contracted for. I don't know if it's a like no end date. It's just so long as it makes them money, or if there's a particular like up until this date, and then they do a revision type thing, like if it's worth continuing, right? So
Right.
I feel like they're doing as much cost efficiency as possible because it's like, well, the lead director guy does everything else and he could also do this. So why should we have another content? We'll just have him do it, right? So that's what I think happened. And so currently the lead director is the content director for this game, and I don't think they're gonna have another content director as of now because again, why spend money on something if you can make it work for less of it, right? Because I think the way they're doing it, what they're justifying it, was that so long as you're doing something else and also work on this side project, then it's like, all right, they're still making money, right? So,
Yeah.
and due to that, there was no real updates as far as Halloween stuff concerned, except for one, and that was Snoopy. Surprisingly, Snoopy, as I've heard, they're putting all man on deck on this particular game because it's making them the most profit because it's a big IP. The thing is, though, with Snoopy, they actually went all out this year for Halloween. They actually made it really themed like Halloween. They decorated the houses so that it's more spooky, and they basically made it so it feels like Halloween. So I at least give them like satisfied, like I'm glad they at least did something. So I feel like there's at least something spooky this year rather than nothing because Goosebumps we were supposed to get something scary originally, but as we all know, they had problems. Summer update didn't happen until September, so guess what means for part two? That's right, it's on Halloween for October. Great. So we have an update for Halloween that isn't Halloween.
Which means that no, I get it's going to be a little confusing because I'm curious as to what the Halloween update was supposed to be.
That's what I was thinking too, and that sucks, right? But, timing thing wise, it's just, and that's part of the problem too, because they have such a small team. So I understand that, they must have had a problem running and they're trying to make it work. And due to the timing strength, they were like, well, whatever. So it feels like it's like every time we have to make sure there's something coming up afterwards and then be like, okay, we at least know the game's still alive. We're still getting updates. But what I'm saying is, as of right now, because they got rid of one game, they're currently making something else. I'm not sure what it is or for exactly what IP they might be having for it because Again, I'm assuming this one might come out sometime next year, but they must have learned their lesson from their other projects to know what to do and what not to do. So I'll be curious to see how this turns out. But I digress. Besides the point, we do have confirmation that instead of a Halloween update, we are actually getting a proper Christmas update. After 3 years of no update, crappy update, and even crappier update, we finally going to get a proper event Christmas update. And I know the book they're adapting, which is surprising because they usually don't tell me stuff anymore. But this time they're like, oh, I guess as an apology because, yeah, the Addams is dead, so let me just give you this one, like this little gift of like, here's what I'm planning on doing, right? So he gave me the title of the book he's adapting, and it's a very interesting choice. I'll say that. And part of me feels like they picked this book. I'm not gonna spoil what it is because I feel like that's gonna ruin the fun. But it is a very odd
Right.
choice to pick, but I feel like I know why they picked it. And I feel like once it reveals itself, I think people will get, oh, I see. But it'd be curious of what they do because it seems like with the director right now, he's actually been doing something in the vein of like it's interesting with different content directors what they do, right? Like before the one who was previously working on this game, his whole thing was taking mostly elements from the book and tries to adapt it in game as faithful as possible. This one, Ignacio, it seems like what he's doing is he's designing, like he's basically taking elements from the books that he's basing stuff off of, but he's turning it into its own thing, right?
Right.
So you want to talk a little bit about the ghost speech stuff?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so we'll just do that for a little bit. So yeah, so Ghost Beach Part 2 just released, and well, I was surprised. I thought we were gonna get Harrison Sadler. Harrison, I'm not a Ghost Sadler, but nope, no. Instead, we get a dog, a dog they missed, a fluffy boy. But still, like, who the fuck is the myth?
I have no idea who the fuck this is.
I don't know either. They don't introduce Harrison Sadler, so like before, there's like Sadler's dog, sure, like the dog was mentioned in the book, but he didn't have a name. But then they just make this fucking dog out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, okay, here he is. Then hopefully, once we get to the next episode, we might have a better idea what story that's going on right now. But I'm still out of the loop of what the hell is going on. What the hell is the story with this dog? But they did finally reveal. The one big complaint with the scene that we had was the whole, hey, there was this one thing of why we're getting the Ray character as characters instead of the profile pictures of the ghost. That was because it's temporary. It turns out it was supposed to be like the actual like Agatha and Bradford as the ghost, which we kind of knew was going to be the case anyways. But it's weird that they changed the characters, the actual creatures spawns into something else entirely, and I think for the worse, in my opinion, because whereas when they were in disguise, they had like little animation scares where they would splash waters and the other one spits. These ones, they just float. That's it. They just float there menacingly. They're just floating there menacingly. But yeah, I don't know. And yeah, that also means that the other scene that you got from the last update, that also changed to them now as well. So that affected that same thing. So this part two update, it's very odd because it's the first time they've done something like this, and it's interesting, but it's also very confusing as to why. Because his original thought process originally was, I wanted to do a story with these two characters in mind, and I'm like, okay, so I could probably see like Terry. Okay, I could see that, right? So her brother doesn't exist in this universe. That he non-existed himself, as we joked last time. But this one, apparently, I guess Sadler doesn't exist either, or not. I'm sorry, I should clarify. They're all Sadlers. Harrison doesn't exist
Yeah.
in this part because Harrison's dog was originally supposed to be like in the original story, they kind of go into this cave and they see this old guy that they thought was the ghost, and he's just like, "I'm not a ghost. I'm actually this old ancestor." It's like another fucking Sadler. Like, how many fucking Sadlers are there? But
Might as
anyway,
well just call it fucking Sadler
Sadler
Beach,
Island,
right?
Sadler's Beach. Anyways, um,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Anyways, so he goes in and kind of tells the story. Is like, oh yeah, those kids you were with, yeah, they're actually ghosts, right? And you should trap them in
It's
this
a
cave because
spooky
this cave is a
place.
sanctuary, right? They're supposed to trap spirits, and they're like they hate dogs because dogs can tell when you're a ghost, right? So you know, that was the whole gist of a dog, and they're like, "Oh, we'll make a dog." It's like, "Oh yeah, because we have enough of those, right?" Like, how many fucking dogs do we got? Got Drool, we got Trigger, we got Wolfsbane, got the Ghost Dog, we got Fifi. Am I missing anyone
Technically,
else?
we also got. Technically, we also have Danger too.
Oh yeah, Danger. I mean, kinda. I mean, he's part of with her. And I guess if you want to go ahead, you could also do like, I mean, well, he's more of a werewolf, but I guess wolf dog thing, right? So it's like we got a lot of fucking canines. Let's just put it that way. We got a lot of them.
And
So
there's
it's like,
also Will Blake.
yeah, I know. Yeah, so Will Blake is another one. So it's like we got a whole bunch of them, right? No cats though. No cats. No felines. Fuck them.
Right?
Apparently,
We
Garfield's
don't.
not
We
part
don't.
of
We
this.
don't even have Rip. Like the fuck.
The only, yeah, the oh yeah, no, oh yeah, and Stubby makes an appear or Stumpy makes an appearance in no, it's Stubby. Stubby makes an appearance via the his doghouse, which is fucking gigantic. Like that's a big fucking doghouse. But he doesn't appear as a character, but his house still lives on. For egg monsters from Mars, if you remember that, like one of the items you get. So again, we got a lot of dog characters, but and then so now we have a new OC. We have Miss the dog, I guess. So I'm curious on what his backstory is. I
If
have
they
to say
don't
he's
add
very
Meanie into the game at some point, I'm gonna be upset.
yeah. Huh?
I said if they don't add Meanie into the game at some point, I'm gonna because they can add all these other OC
Yeah, I know. I mean,
Mist,
well,
Misty, and
people don't
the
know who the
fuck, what
hell
was her
that is
name?
just yet, but you'll get to know her in a minute. In a moment, in a moment. But yeah,
People who have been like or people who have been like taking a look at my stuff would know who she is.
I know
So
she knows she is. I mean, people who've been watching this series for like what was it, 9 episodes now, should know who she is. Well, no, 10 episodes now should know who she is because spoiler alert, it's what you're going as your avatar here. So
well, yeah, you're looking at her for
you're
fuck's sakes.
looking at her, buddy. And here's the thing too. Speaking of her, I feel like we could probably make a marketable plushie out of her because technically, it's like yeah, she's based off of another character, but she's her own original thing. So you know, she's a
No,
spiritual.
she's not a recolor, and no,
She's a
donut
spiritual
steal.
successor. You can buy your own knockoff Susie at home.
She's not an anti-Susie OC. She's not like a fucking Sonic character or anything.
Yeah, so I think what we'll do is that we'll talk a little bit more on the Ghost Beach stuff on its own separate because there's still stuff to think about, but I feel like once we get the final story here, we might have an overall look at it officially. We've talked a bit about it last episode. We're talking a little bit about this episode, and we'll talk a little bit less, like more last episode, but we have plans for the next episode as well. So that's what we'll do. So stay tuned for that. We'll have a final conclusion to everything and kind of give our final thoughts because this is just all we've been scatterbrained all over this type of stuff. But yeah, speaking of, it's weird because I guess we'll talk about this in a moment, but uh well hold on. I'm trying to think how to segue this into this thing here, but hmm, I think there's nothing else we should talk about, right? Like we pretty much covered our basis on stuff we want to mention. We,
Well, I don't know about. Well, yeah, I think so.
yeah,
Yeah,
like we
I
did our
I mostly
we did the
talked about
side
fucking
we did the
Sega's
side
baseball
dishes, we did
face.
the appetizer. Now let's get to the main course, right? Yum yum, can't wait.
Well, I think it was
Part
like
one
one
to the
of
main
the main
course.
courses, right?
Yeah, the part one to the main course. All right,
No, it would be like main course and then dessert.
okay. Well, I mean, dessert will come until like in next year. So you get this, you get meal now, and then you wait until dessert later. We'll
Okay,
explain more in a minute.
I'll take that.
Oh,
I'll take
yeah,
that.
yeah. Give me one moment. Just one moment. Let me let me think for a moment. All right, sorry, I just needed needed a moment for that as a segue break. I feel like whenever
Yeah.
we do get a promotion, it'd be like, we're gonna go to our neck. We're gonna finally go talk about our stuff after this bronze sponsor. Yes, you too can get yourself what was it? Like Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends. Thanks for sponsoring this video. That's right, we're selling out, baby.
Yeah, we're sellouts now. We're living the YouTuber dream.
Oh boy. That's right, Slop.
Yeah.
This is sponsored by Lunchables.
Lunchly. Oh god. We get sponsored by Lunchly.
Oh boy.
The fucking cruel ass thing that fucking Logan
Get
Paul and Kate
yourself
Simon
Feasibles
pushing.
and Prime. Mmm.
God,
I love me my cheese and crackers.
I'd rather invest in crypto than get sponsored by those clowns.
Well, good for the good news. Ray Chatelain is going to get you covered on that. It's owned by a casino company, but I will never go to those type of levels. But yeah, I mean, eventually we might get one, but I don't know. This is just for funsies. But
Yeah.
anyways, so as we kind of joked about previously, and we're gonna get to that point. This is a two-parter, just like the Ghost Speech one, but we're gonna have part one here, and then part two is gonna be in January. We're gonna film in December, but it's gonna be in January. So we're gonna
Yeah.
have a full on from now until from now this moment right now, all Christmas stuff, baby. Sorry, you don't like it? You've been Susied. You've
Yeah,
been
it's like that
Susied.
breakfast cereal. It's like that breakfast cereal. Oops, all Christmas.
Oops, all Susie. Oh, oops, all Susie Snowflake. Yeah.
All Susie.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is where we last left off, the teaser we had was a little jingle, which was that of Toon World from Yu-Gi-Oh, right? That we decided to do.
Love that song.
Yeah, it's catchy. By the way, that might not be the only
Honestly,
teaser. This won't be the only teaser.
honestly,
With
I thought you
music.
would have actually went with the. Honestly, I thought you would have actually went with the actual clip of Toon World.
That's what I thought originally, but then I looked and I'm like, oh, it's a song. That's what you sent me. Oops. Oh,
Well,
well.
there was like a specific clip too where it's just like Toon World popping out of like a portal and then
Yeah,
just makes its grand entrance.
yeah, yeah. Oh wow. And people got if you got I don't know, people don't really register. They don't really go, "Oh, I know what the next episode is." They don't care. They don't care. They just
Right
listen.
here,
They just listen. What look, listen. That's what they do. Anyways,
but there's more to it than just the song.
yes, I know. There's so Toon stuff this time around. So you might be thinking, "Wait a minute. So if it's Toon stuff, what the fuck kind of book are you adapting?" Well, it's one of those, it's a stretch type things. You know how Valentine's at Poison Lake was Bailey about Poison Lake? This is somewhat the same situation, because fuck you. This is my story now. I'll make it whatever the fuck I want. So, with that in mind, let's introduce to this what it is. So, go ahead and introduce what it is. What is your magnum opus that you've been working on for, I think, for the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah.
All right. So,
Hey Graham, you remember that? You remember that FNAF reference from Shocker on Shock Street?
yes.
Want to do that again with Bendy and the Ink Machine?
How so?
Well, the event that I came up with, the concept that I'm working on, is called Tune In Tomorrow, but Tune is spelled with two O's, as in cartoon.
Oh, kind of reminds me of Stay Tuned, which was an old PC game. I'm not sure if you remember that, but
I think I vaguely remember
it was
that.
made by Funny Bone,
Vaguely.
I think. Yeah, it was one of those weird. Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. It's like one of those weird childhood memories. So it's like, oh yeah, it was on the PC, one of my schools, or something like that. Anyways, they had the same premise. So it's like instead of tune, it's like tune as in T-O-N. You know, it's like, oh, they sound
Yeah.
similar. Or like, what is that? What God? What is that word? Things that sound similar but spelled differently. It's a word for that.
Oh God, I didn't know there was an actual term for that. Fuck.
There is a term
And
for
here
that. I
I
don't know what
thought
the
I was
fuck
a
it's
nerd.
called though. Google it.
And here I
Quickly,
thought I
Google it.
and here I thought I was the word nerd.
Yeah, no, anyways, it's that word. You Google it. All right, we're not gonna bother. We're not your teachers. You're dealing with
Yeah.
that much
Anyway,
allergy. Anyways, so
so Tune In Tomorrow has elements of a few other holiday stories, which includes Why I Hate Jack Frost, Ice Vampire, Marshmallow Surprise, and Double Dip Horror.
all the interesting stories. So you have elements from that, but its own separate thing. So a question, because this is a two-parter, are some of those elements going to be altogether story, or is it going to be like some elements from those two particular books in this part, and then the other two in the other part? Like what
Well, the ones
specifically?
the ones that I've already mentioned will be in part one. I'll have to think more on part two.
Oh, you're gonna have more in part two. Okay. All right,
Yep.
so yeah, so as you can see, I'm gonna basically like as you saw right now, like you're saying, this is Playboy Vampire's artwork of what he wants to see as a screensaver, and it looks fucking awesome, by the way. He does
I
the
actually made
thumbnail, he did the
several
titles. It looks official almost, despite the fact that it's drawn, but
almost.
still,
Well, yeah, considering it's a cartoon, like, yeah. But
yeah.
however, I actually made different versions of my own splash card for Tune In Tomorrow.
So, are we gonna do? Should we show that off in part two? Do you think, or do you have another idea for the splash art for part two?
I have a different concept for part two, and
Okay,
it's
so
not
we'll
going to
do
be
that.
like Ghost Beach part two, where it just shows Terry with the additional dog and
Yeah, the
the
dog
different
that looks
positions of
nothing like
Terry's.
the one from the actual game. It's like two different people do it, right? Like you know that that
Yeah.
was the artist who did the fucking werewolf because it looks like a wolf dog, but then someone else designed the actual fluffy boy. It does not look like him at all.
But
But anyways, yeah.
anyway,
So yeah,
the part two splash card is going to look extravagantly different.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, anyways, so tune in tomorrow. Yeah, so you're seeing the artwork here in the different versions of it that he has, but I'm showing you the one that is basically showing like the actual tune in tomorrow logo type thing. Now I would assume it would be a part one down there, but for now it's just like tune in tomorrow. So just imagine there's a part one down there, right? So
Yeah.
there you go. So just part one.
So now it's time to introduce the characters, the friendly cast of this cavalcade of cartoons.
Yes. With the
So
first one being the thing you've been looking at this entire time, Meanie.
yes, Meanie Snowflake. She is going to be the character that you get to unlock during the event.
Once you buy the gold
She's
pass,
yeah. Once you buy the Meanie Pass
she
or
is
the Mean Monster Pass.
she's the anti Susie.
Yeah, the anti Susie. Kind of similar to
So
like anti fairies,
yeah,
where
she's
like
not like based on Halloween stuff though. Like she looks like it, but she's not. If I'm
yeah, a lot of people actually guessed that she was just like obsessed with Halloween, but she just doesn't like Christmas. She's just like an anti fairy version of like Susie Snowflake.
yeah, so you would think
It's
that that
kind
would
of
be the
how I
difference.
wanted to present her anyway.
Yeah, so what to me when I look at her, she kind of reminds me, and this is again, this is going to be key on because this is a Christmas reference of sorts. So I don't know if you're old enough to remember this, then good on you, but you might not know what the fuck we're talking about because I believe this was originally a French episode, but a French show that came into Canada and dubbed in English. But she reminds me of Gruzzlebeard from The Secret World of Santa Claus.
I'm so fucking glad you brought that up because uh, the concept of the concept of Meanie was actually based on both the Grinch and Gruzzlebeard.
Yeah, for those who don't know what Gruzzlebeard was, he was like Santa's rival in this show. Like if I remember
He was
correctly, the Secret World of Santa Claus, it was 24 episodes, I think, and it was the idea of it was that in from December to December 24th, you would have one episode from the show, and it'd be like, oh, Santa Claus kind of preparing himself to do his usual thing. Like they had the first episode being like Santa going to this training session to be like being able to do his job. Like they had people
proving
like
them his
representing
competencies.
Yeah, the organization, the making sure Santa was the correct person for the job per se. And
Yeah.
I still don't know the gist of Grizzlebeard's whole purpose. I know he's like, oh, I want to stop Santa from being Santa, right? But like, what was his purpose? Like, did he want to be Santa Claus and do his own, like, I want to do my Nightmare Before Christmas toys instead?
Like he didn't really have like a whole like the thing about Grizzlebeard is that he only has like one elf along
Yeah,
with him, and I forgot his name, but he was like a little bit more competent at being a villain than Grizzlebeard himself. But it's actually revealed that Grizzlebeard is actually Santa's brother. I
that
don't know
would
if you knew that.
that would, yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen that show. I just know that one, like, they had, I think it was three elves and then they had a bear. And
Yeah, I forgot the
I think
names of the
each of those
elves.
elves
One of
had
them was like
powers too, if I'm remembering. One can transform, the other one can
uh,
float. I don't know if all of them have the same powers or if it's just one has a particular power, right?
one of them can become invisible, one of them transforms, and the other one flies around.
That's what I thought. Yeah, so I was
Yeah.
correct on that. All right. So yeah, so
I
he
know
has,
that one of the I think it was the techie one. I think his name was like Gertie. I don't know. It was one of the male elf characters. I know that for sure.
yeah, the big one or the small one?
I think it might be the small one,
Yeah, that
the one
sounds
that's
about
like
right.
thick
Yeah.
sassy.
And then there's the girl, because of course you gotta have one of those. The girl.
And have it be a fucking sausage fest.
Yeah,
But
no, I love
anyway,
that. It's like, we got the tall one, we got the short one, we got the mean one, and we got the girl. See,
yeah,
you
pretty much.
can't have her own personality. Nah, nah, girl. That's what
But
she
I
is.
think the core concept of Grizzlebeard's intent for Christmas was I think he wanted to just take over it to be the new Santa. But I
Out of
think he just
vengefulness for his brother. Yeah.
yeah, probably. But in Meanie's case, she just really fucking hates it and just wants to get rid of it at all costs.
So just imagine this. We all know Susie. We all know her lovable, like she never, like she's basically SpongeBob incarnated in a sense, but like if she was obsessed with Christmas. So think that one episode of like the first Christmas ever. Think that, but every day kind of thing with her. So imagine that, but now you have a negative Susie. So I can only imagine the fucking nightmare that might do. And I can only assume how the story's going to go, especially with one particular dummy. I don't know if the dummy is featured at all.
I actually have this running joke where like a lot of the characters confuse Meanie for Susie because they look so similar. And then
Yeah.
Meanie's like, why do they keep mistaking me for Susie?
Do
It's
you think
like
she
it
has
doesn't
a
clue
more
it.
like, I know I did the Susie voice as a high pitched one, but do you think she has that kind of high pitched like grunk gravelly voice to her?
Yeah, she would
Yeah.
have something similar to that.
It's like, why did I can't put that. Like,
She would
I'm
sound a
not,
little
like I'm a guy who
in
has
my
a deep
head.
voice.
Well, in my head, she would sound a little bit more like Spinell from Steven Universe.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
But like when she was like still like vile and cruel and shit.
Yeah, before she became a goody two shoes, before she became lame,
Before she became Susie.
before she became lame. And and I'm assuming that unlike Susie, she's not gonna have a Grinch moment where her heart will go three sizes that day.
Oh no, she's like a full on Grizzlebeard through and through.
Yeah, so there's no turning her into another Susie. No. Oh
No.
wait, oh
Oh no.
wait. So I have an
Not
idea.
even
So wait, so we know Susie has the power of being able to assimilate people into being her in a sense. Does
well,
anti-Susie
it's a
here,
Holly Jolly
Meanie, have
Dust.
the same thing?
Meaning does not have the same thing. In fact,
Oh, okay.
she's actually immune to the Holly Jolly Dust.
Well, I can know that. I can assume that. I just meant in the sense that should she have the ability to turn people into meanies themselves, right? Like, God, I'm bringing SpongeBob up again, but there was an episode like one Christmas special when they had puppets and Plankton had this thing where it's like, oh, give people these fruit cakes. Is it fruit cake? No. What are those stupid desserts that you get for Christmas that they joke about like, oh, it's a heart brick and you throw it in the garbage? It's a fruit
Yeah, I
cake,
hear
right?
it's fruitcake.
Yeah, it's a fruitcake. So yeah, there's like, oh, eat this fruitcake, and they turn into like these assholes basically with like fucking eyebrows, like big bushy eyebrows, and be like, yeah, fuck off, kid. Not swearing per se like what we do, but in the same vein, like they
Yeah.
just yeah. So I just assume like she had the power of just rubbing that off. It's just like a bunch of like Christmas bomb.
No, like she just ruins people's day just by being a massive asshole.
Good. So is this a Christmas story per se, or is this like its own thing that just so happens to have Susie in it? I mean, I guess it's a Christmas story because you're
Well,
including the
it's
Christmas.
supposed to be based on it's supposed to be based on the stereotypical bah humbug character along with typical um what's the word? Um one noted Christmas specials.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. The weird thing too is that a lot of people are confusing with the title. Like it's Tune In Tomorrow. It's just like, well, technically, it's not based off of a book. It has a similar name of the book, and there might
Well,
be a character from a book kind of based on is the kind of question. Because the thing is, with the original book, if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be this show that she is this soap opera this girl's watching on TV,
well,
right?
I would actually get into that. I would actually
Okay,
get into that.
okay, okay. So
So,
I'm getting ahead of myself. But anyways, you go ahead and do
yeah,
your
you're
thing.
getting way ahead. Like, let's relax for a moment,
I'm
okay?
just excited, man. I'm excited to hear
I
this.
know.
I'm sorry.
So the next three characters are NPC characters. So the first one is named. So two of them are elf characters, not the gross goblin-looking elves that we got from last year or
What
anything.
what kind of gremlin looking motherfuckers are these? None of
No,
those.
these are no, these are more akin to like the elves that you see from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, those elves that you would probably find a Susie Snowflake special. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Not
So
horror
one of
town
them is a
elves.
male.
Not real life elves. No. So anyway, sorry.
So one of them is a male character named Chauncey, and the other one is a female character named Noelle.
Of course, you had to have a character named Noel. You gotta have
Well,
it.
yeah, of course.
It kind of reminds me of
So
I'm going off topic here a bit. Like I'm not really into the whole My Little Pony thing, but I was forced to watch some of the stuff in Christmas episode. They had like these reindeer characters, one called Aurora, the other one called Bora, and then the other one called Alice. And it's like, oh, fuck off, Aurora Borealis. Aurora Borealis.
Aurora Borealis.
I
This
love
time
that.
of
I love
day,
that
in this
stupid
part of
joke.
the
It's just like,
country,
yeah,
located
Grandma's
entirely
Alice,
within
the
Ponyville.
mother is Bora,
Yeah.
and the little girl, the little one, the daughter is Alice. And it's like, oh, of course, it's the
All entirely localized within Ponyville. Yes. May I say them?
no.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Seymour,
the
the
last one,
Cess, the Cess Festive. No, mother. I'm sorry.
it's just a Northern Lights. Anyway, so the last NPC is by far my favorite, and I'm going to talk about him extensively, especially in part two. So the last NPC character is named Baron.
Baron.
So Baron is actually the only thing that ties into the story of Tune In Tomorrow, because in the original story, because this was located in one of the More Tales to Give You Goosebumps books, there is a story called Tune In Tomorrow. And Baron is actually the name of one of the dog characters that is in the story. Now, the
Another.
thing about Baron is that he is a blend of two different dogs. So there's Baron,
Oh.
the real life dog from the story, and then there's a TV version of a dog who happens to be a Rottweiler. And the show in which this dog was in is called Looking Towards Tomorrow.
We get the best of both
And
worlds. We get another dog character for the Horror Town fic. That's mythos. More dogs.
except except Baron is going to be a lot more cool because Baron is supposed to be a vicious Rottweiler cartoon dog, and is supposed to be not only a henchman but a muscle for Meanie Snowflake.
So think of like Looney Tunes, how they had that one particular. What was his? There's a dog that's more like a bulldog. If you remember that character, I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
They must have had a name for that character, but he's like he goes after Sylvester sometimes, but kind of like that. That big,
but
you
he's
know.
more He's actually more inspired by like a more muscle-bound version of Boris the Wolf from Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Okay, so I guess I was gonna say
Not like
P-
not like brute, not like brute Boris, but like if like Boris decided to get some gains from the gym.
yeah. Yeah, like he looks like Popeye in a sense, kind of thing, like the weird muscle
Well,
proportions.
more like Bluto rather than Popeye.
Yeah, that's
But
what. Sorry,
yeah,
I meant more Bluto. Bluto is more appropriate. Popeye is like the only arm thing, but Bluto is like that big, weird. Like I did not do leg day kind of thing. Like he has all the muscles at the top, and then the leg is like, the fuck are those?
but now let's get on to the special buildings.
Okay.
So the spawn scene that we're going to have is called the Cartoonomatic, the Cartoonomatic, and this is going to look something akin to the Ink Machine.
I'm already
But not
I'm
like
interested to see how this whole event turns out. But you go on.
so it spawns out ink versions of all the aforementioned characters: Meanie, Chauncey, Noel, and even Baron.
So for Meanie, does because she's a character, does she come with this like is it like like is what I'm trying to say is that is this Meanie kind of monster version in a sense, or is this its own separate entity?
The monster version, the Ink Meanie, as I call her, is going to be
So
like the monster version of Meanie Snowflake.
so you need Meanie in order to play this then.
Yeah, you need Meanie to get the full capacity of the Cartoonomatic.
Okay, so what we have right now is basically going to be the two elves characters, and I'm assuming you unlock the final reward. That's something I've noticed too, by the way, with like the game is that they stopped doing this whole let's name it something else. They're just like, oh no, it's the same name, but they would just add final reward at the end. It's just like,
Well,
okay,
this one is the final reward would actually be called the Cartoonomatic Mark II.
yeah, version two, the better one.
Yeah, it's a more updated version because this one you get to actually have Meanie
Mm.
spawn out of it.
And assuming like Bruce and part two, I'm assuming when we get there.
Brutus, you mean Baron?
Baron, my bad, fuck. I'm sorry, man. I don't know these
How do you
names.
disrespect Baron?
Who the fuck is Baron? Who the fuck is Bruce? What kind of story you
Anyway,
going for?
the crafting building is going to be called Holly Jolly Studios.
Oh my god.
So Holly Jolly Studios is the studio company that makes the Holly Jolly cartoons.
Think Rankin Bass, I would assume, but only doing Holly like only doing Susie stuff. Like you know what?
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
don't blame them. Susie's fucking popular, so why wouldn't they?
However,
Merchandise.
during the introduction of Meanie Snowflake, that's kind of when the studio kind of went under, and they had to go through desperate decisions. And I'll explain that in a moment
Okay.
when I get to the story. So the house that Meanie comes in is just simply referred to as Meanie's house, which is going to be surrounded with destroyed Christmas decoration because she just fucking hates Christmas.
It would have been interesting if it was actually a I can totally see that, but I'm also thinking like she's supposed to be anti-Susie, but I would imagine that it would be like how Susie comes with the shoppy, or I guess shop, but yeah, I call it the shoppy, like a negative version of the shoppy.
No,
Like,
it's
well,
just like a cartoon house.
oh, okay. I was just gonna,
It's
you know,
going to
it
look
would
really
have been
menacing
interesting.
too.
Okay, yeah.
It's going to look pretty menacing too. Like it wants, like if it could, it would like come to life and punch you in the face, sort
Hey,
of thing.
you did a good drawing for my thing, and you're good with Toon stuff, so I'm looking forward to seeing this because I'm assuming you're drawing all this stuff, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
this is my Mangum
okay.
Opis.
I
I wouldn't want
know.
to fuck that shit up.
I know. By the way, folks, like I really loved what he did for the last video with the whole BIM stuff and all that, but oh, my
Oh
wallet
my
hurt so
god, I
much.
was
My
so
wallet hurt.
inspired with so many
My
things when
I
that
love
when
that you loved my idea. I'm so happy, but my wallet's not so much.
yeah, your wallet is like, come on, stop,
Please,
man,
no
I'm
more.
dying
I
here.
need more money.
Stop, man! I can only spend so much.
I
But
need to
anyway, the last
spend
item
you.
is going to be the promenade supplier, which is called Inkwell.
Yeah.
It's going to be a large inkwell containing a raw item referred to as cartoon ink.
Do we have an ink type of thing already? Or am I thinking?
No, I don't think we do.
The only thing I could think
The
of
only
at the
thing,
top of my head is the one from the Phantom of the Auditorium. There was something similar to that, but it's blue.
yeah, we did, but it had nothing to do with cartoons, so this is safe.
Yeah, okay. It's its own different thing. We colored it differently. It's all good. It's all it's like the spider glove. Remember that? It's like, oh no, we already have one of those. It's
Yeah.
like, no, we just colored differently. They're all good. Safe on
So the
resources.
currency, so the currency is going to be inkwell bottles, which is described as the cartoonomatic doesn't run on nothing after all.
Yeah.
So the decorations that will appear include the old Holly Jolly poster, which is a vintage poster of Holly Jolly Holiday, seemed to be have made from the 30s. That would be the poster that you would see from the splash card.
So this would be Susie Origins. Yeah, I can see. Okay, so I guess
Yeah.
She's been around for a while then.
Oh yeah, since the 30s.
Wow, God,
The next
she's popular.
Yeah, the next one the next one is called Film Projector, a vintage projector that plays a cartoon of Susie Snowflake. And this is an animated thing.
Okay, cool. So you're gonna have her do a little jig or like
Probably have her do like the same little bombing animation that Bendy had during the beta.
yeah, I was gonna say that, or they could literally just do one of those weird anime. You know what I mean? Like they could take her in-game model doing the animation and just kind of shrink it down, kind of gray it out, put it in there, and be like, oh, good enough. But no,
Yeah, something like that.
I think honestly they would actually do a drawing of it instead because they did the same thing for Adams with like I don't know if you've watched any of my Adams videos, but they did one where Fester was the scientist thing and they kind of designed it in a way. It's interesting. So I can totally see them doing something like that.
The next item is called the Golden Susie statue, which is just a large statue of Susie Snowflake.
Yeah.
The
All
next one is
that.
called Looking Toward Tomorrow poster, a Christmas themed poster with Susie Snowflake. Looks to be made in the 50s.
I wonder how that would look.
I have a basic idea of what it would look like.
Okay. Because I don't know what a 50s would look. I'm familiar with 30s and maybe even like the 70s, you know what I mean, like the eras, but it's like 50s I mean, 50s have a style. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
no, shut up.
it would be something more akin to like the Flintstones or Jetsons, just more of like Hanna-Barbera style.
Oh God, that was when they started running out of money. We need to do a short budget. We need to have go on the screen a bunch of times.
Yeah, the Wacky Races era.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next one is called the Ice Vampire, and see, this is where the some of the other stories starts to blend in a little. So, the Ice Vampire, an ice sculpture made to look like Nosferatu.
Okay. Because
Uh,
sorry, I mentioned something like I was thinking about the other books previously with stuff. I figured out what it was. We continue. Apparently, I was thinking like for content. Never mind. Never mind.
So the next item is called the Ice Cobra, and this is an ice sculpture made to look like a cobra monster, which would look similar to the snake creature from the Goosebumps Live on Stage poster.
Which is funny because I had something like again like because I also was doing stuff with ice vampires too and another different idea, but that's its whole separate idea and story, and I don't know when we'll ever get to that. So I just when you say stuff like this, it's just like, oh, where have I heard this before? And I'm like, oh, because I did something similar. I have not posted this out yet, but it's like one of those. Oh, it sounds familiar. Sorry.
Oh, good. The next one is called Frosty Snow Globe, a snow globe belonging to Jack Frost.
And why I hate them.
And here's why I hate him. Here's the whole laundry list of reasons. Anyway, the next one is Jack Frost statue, a statue of a rubber hose cartoon character made to look like Jack Frost, small and elvish.
I don't know why. I just remembered this. I saw somebody actually like someone who actually liked Susie as well, like the design the Pixar gave her, and they did something where they did this like, what if an old cart, like an old, those TV, like when you go into like either like TV guides or newspapers when they do these advertising of like, oh, a Christmas special coming up. Here's like some advertising of sorts. They did one with Susie
Yeah,
Snowflake and talk about her boyfriend Jack Frost, and I'm just like, oh. So it's
yeah,
just
I saw those on DeviantArt.
yeah,
I
you
know
know what I'm
I know
talking about then.
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, no, no. By the way, no ill will to them at all. If they're hearing this, no ill will. I just figured it was interesting.
yeah. The next one is Arizona snow globe, a snow globe of Arizona with no snow.
Of
So
course.
the basic, so the idea of this is that in the story of Why I Hate Jack Frost, spoilers, there are two separate snow globes. One that is in a dream, and the other one that's in real life. So the regular snow globe is in the awake universe, and whenever the main character sleeps, he would be transported inside this little snow globe world. And inside this snow globe world in which Jack Frost resides, he would have a snow globe of his own, but it would be of Arizona.
I wonder, by the way, I'm just thinking about this right now, but I wonder if the person who made that short story is also the one who did It's Only a Nightmare. Because that has somewhat a similar premise of sorts, where you like wake up in this nightmare world and it's like, oh no, you were actually dreaming. Those things you were thinking of, that was fake, right? This whole gaslighting thing, right? It
Right.
but you might say, oh, but R.L. Stein made it. No, R.L. Stein probably made Goosebumps and Goosebumps 2000s, but the spin-off stuff, he was more than fine to have other people write it for him. He just basically said a synopsis, like, here's a little plot. Here you go, make something out of it. That's my takeaway, because there's no way in hell that guy wrote all those fucking books, especially when he was writing other books as well.
So the next one is a pool of ink, a large puddle of black ink, and this is just based on, or almost similar to the 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 black inky shit that we had from Haunted School, except without the tendrils.
Okay.
The next one is Susie Snowflake plushie. That's pretty self-explanatory. A happy plushie of Susie Snowflake.
Which will be marketable
Now
at
this,
some point in the future, maybe.
yeah, hopefully. The next one is called Tummy Tempting Christmas Cookies. Now this is based on a catchphrase, or one of the few things that Susie Snowflake likes to declare. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I have tasty Christmas cookies to tempt your tummy.
Yeah.
A kitchen island decorated. Huh?
I was sorry. I was just gonna think with the Susie plushie. That's reminded of like that meme. It's like, what would you do with this? You pet the thing. You hold the thing. You feed the thing. Give it all your money, your monthly possessions.
Give it all your mortal possessions.
Like, what do you do with Susie Snowflake? Pet the Susie. Hold the Susie. Give all your
Cherish
worldly
the Susie.
possession. Give all your worldly possession to the Susie.
So, tummy tempting Christmas cookies. A kitchen
Yeah.
island decorated with Christmas ornaments and a plate of gingerbread cookies.
Nice.
Next is the grand prize for the progression book. And this one is called Tuggy Tugboat. An old timey steamboat with Christmas decor. The ship has a jolly face. Steam puffs out from the top of it, and the eyes blink.
Gee, I wonder what that's
Um,
based off of.
yes, it is
It
based off
happened to
of
be a familiar mouse who just got in public domain we talked about earlier this year.
Steamboat Willie.
Yeah,
And I can't get sued by Disney for it.
because it's public domain, bitch. Anybody could use it.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
yours.
to be
Anyway,
fair, the Steamboat Willie's boat doesn't have like fucking eyes and anything like that, so that's all good. That's all
no,
good.
but Susie does actually have an animation regarding it. So
Or is she gonna do the whole Mickey Mouse thing?
yes, she is going to do the Mickey Mouse thing.
I can just imagine
She
her
is going
doing
to
that.
perform the
So
Steamboat
whistling,
Willie.
put her hand on her hips, doing the little thing and spinning the wheel and going.
Yeah. She would do like a little whistling thing as she's steering the boat.
Yeah. I can't whistle for shit. I don't have no lips. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so you can do
Anyway,
it.
the
Yeah,
next one
rub it
is
in, why
called
don't you?
the next one is called Ink Tube, a long glass tube full of ink.
Okay, yeah.
ink arch tube, a long glass tube full of ink made to look like an archway. It drips ink.
Okay.
The next one is called cartoon sleigh. This is the last item. A caricature of Santa's sleigh with two cartoon reindeer. The both of them look like the designs from Rudolph and the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Now it's funny that you say slave because for some reason it's again it's one of those, like I said before, the two words that sound like similar but they're totally different things. Like for some reason when you said slay, I thought, oh, it's spelled like SLAY.
No, no, no.
I'm gonna slay you tonight. Evil
I'm
Santa
gonna
Claus
watch.
coming to town. You better watch out.
Anyway,
You better not cry. Better not pout. I'm telling you why, because Santa Claus is coming tonight.
actually, it kind of reminds me of this one comic I saw based on like a VTubers I watch called Fuwawa Moko. Some of you might heard of it, some might not.
It sounds
It depends on
familiar.
how big you are on VTubers. Anyway, they did like this really funny Christmas comic where one of the characters is singing "You better watch out," and then the other one's like, "Oh, you better watch out," and then the first one just continues saying like, "You better not cry," and then the second one is like, "You better watch out," getting more menacing, and then the first one is like, "I'm telling you why," and then the second one is like, "You better watch out." It was really funny. I should have it saved on my computer or something. I'll show you a pic later.
Okay. I
But
probably show it on the screen because it saves me the trouble.
yeah.
Unless I'm lazy, that's probably another thing too. Because lately I've been kind of like lazy, so I'll try my best, but no promises.
So now we get on to the crafting items. So the raw item, as we just established, is called cartoon ink.
Yep.
So the first tree that we're going to be doing is called the Christmas treats line, and then the next second part we'd be doing is the cartoon props stuff. So within the Christmas treats part, the first thing that we're going to have is called Christmas cookies, and this requires two cartoon ink and two cookies.
Okay.
After that, we have Marshmallow Surprise, which requires two cartoon ink, a chocolate bar, and cocoa powder.
Okay, so we're going a little bit more higher tier this time.
Yeah, yeah.
You can unlock the
Then
event
we
at
have
5, but you need to get up to like the Beware Snowman up there, or else too bad. You gotta be paying money for that.
uh, then we have then we have Banana Split, which requires two cartoon ink, two ice cream, and two chocolate bars. And then lastly, we have Double Dip Horror. Double Dip Horror requires one Christmas cookie, one marshmallow surprise, and one banana split.
What does double chip horror looks like? It sounds like a ice cream or something.
Okay, so the story of
I know the
the
story.
story of
I
Double
just meant in the same. You said the double dip horror, so I'm like, what does that look like as far as this? Like, they're probably showing it off now, but I'm talking about me who doesn't see this in the past.
yeah, breaking the immersion, Grim.
Shut up.
The fourth wall breaker.
People are watching. They're not watching the fucking video. They're just listening into this, so they're curious too. It's like, oh, I want to know
Okay,
what it's
so Double Dip Horror is going to look like something similar to like Living Cream from like Welcome to Dead House,
Yeah.
but based on like banana split sort of thing,
So instead of one,
but
you get
more
two.
grandiose.
So instead of one living cream, you get two.
Kind of, yeah.
You get twinsies. Oh, you know what? That kind of reminds me of there's a weird Pokemon that's like a ice cream cone.
Oh yeah, you're talking about
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck the name is.
Vanillite, Vanillux, and Vanillish. Not
Yeah.
necessarily in that order, but yeah.
No, yeah, but yeah, because there was one where it's like, there's one, and then there's one with two of them. It's like, it's like that, but not never mind.
Well, it's more like it's
Banana
more like
split.
there's a small one, there's like a double scooped one, and then there's like a double coned one.
Yeah, the murder horn.
So,
Yeah, that's it.
so
It's right over there.
so now we get into the cartoon prop set. So the first one is called the cartoon trap. Uh, it's going to require two cartoon ink and tin cans, and the trap itself is going to look like a regular trap but with cartoon eyes.
Nice.
The next one is called Cartoon Mallet. This one requires 2 cartooning and 2 blocks of wood. The next one is called Cartoon Banana Peel. This one is going to require. Now, this one's a little bit different because this actually requires banana split to go with this one.
Oh, okay. So this is going to be a hard tier item, despite not being hard tier.
Yeah. So banana peel is going to require 2 cartooning but 1 banana split. And then lastly, we have the cartoon prop box. It's going to be, and the cartoon prop box is going to look like a monochrome Jack in the Box.
Okay.
And this concept, it actually comes from, I don't know how familiar you are with Bonkers.
Yes. That's
Like,
my answer.
there was like this, yeah, there was like this one
I know the theme
episode
song
where
too. It's like I got the theme song stuck in my head now. Thanks.
you're welcome. So there was like,
Bonkers.
so anyway,
Bonkers. Look,
anyway,
look,
there's
people who know Bonkers know that theme song bops. Okay, I'm sorry,
yeah, it slaps hard.
it
Anyway,
slaps.
so there was like this one episode of Bonkers where Bonkers comes across this one guy. He calls himself the Doodler or something.
That's the
No, it
first
was like
episode, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, he was like supposed to be like a big baddie of sorts. And one of the things that he would utilize is called the cartoon prop box, and
Yeah,
it would look
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
basically like these Jack in the Box.
yeah, yeah. Makes fun. It's
But
funny too when you find out who the doodler is and just like, what, really? Well, I see
because
who
he was
really
so
it is.
he had like this delusion that he was a Toon, but he was just like a regular person with like 5 fingers.
Yeah. The for some reason
He had like
he
this,
had like if I remember correctly, the doodler had like pencil hands, right? Like he almost
yeah,
he
he had
kind
like a
of like
Freddy
Pinky
Krueger
Flamingo
pencil
in a
thing.
sense, kinda.
Yeah, he had like a Freddy Krueger pencil thing going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna draw you out of existence, Bonkers.
And
Yeah, the
then like
missing
he had
parts
like this
too.
little and then he had like this little hunchback green skinned Igor character named Mr. Doodles.
And
I
I'm
remember, yeah.
remembering this now. It's like, oh god. Uh,
But anyway, the prop box requires 2 cartoon traps, 2 mallets, and 2 banana peels.
okay. I'm sorry, I'm just bringing up Bonkers again. I remember the one episode when Mickey Mouse got captured, and you don't get to see Mickey Mouse, but
Yeah,
you hear Mickey Mouse, but you don't get to see him. He's just like this rat is pretending to be him, and the guy's just like, "Oh, I love Mickey Mouse." Like that's not Mickey Mouse. It's like, of course it is. Look at him.
I
And look,
actually
there's his dog
remember.
Pluto.
I
Missing
think
it
one of the
though.
reasons why I still love Bonkers to this day is mainly because it's like one of the only shows made by Disney that still feature the Mad Hatter and the March Hare.
Yeah, this basically Bonkers is like I think they wanted to make Roger Rabbit into a thing, but they had copyright hell, so the Bonkers was that like response to that. So it's like, fine, we'll just play with our own characters. We'll do that then. And then they also made new ones, but I digress. But yeah, Bonkers was in that type
Yeah,
of sense. So he instead of like it was basically Bonkers became a police officer in a sense, right? Rather than how Roger Rabbit had like a Toon detective or a detective who did Toon cases in a sense, or whatever.
yeah,
But same premise, except but cartoon humans instead of real humans.
yeah.
Costs too much money.
Anywho, so now we get onto the quests.
Oh boy, it's a story.
Well, not the story, yeah, but just like the
Oh,
animations and shit.
the tasks, yeah.
Yeah, the tasks. I call them quests, but whatever. Anywho, so the first one is going to be the star of this show, Meanie Snowflake. So Meanie actually has 7 animations.
Oh boy. So she's gonna be a pretty penny to cost.
Yeah, but she's
I'm
going to be
coming
worth
after
it,
you, Curly.
in my opinion. She's going to be worth it, in my opinion. So the
Yeah.
first one is Flow. So the first 3 are actually based on Bendy and the Ink Machine fan songs.
Oh boy. So we're getting like okay, yeah. I mean, that won't be the
So
first time. Like this Boots Cookie Sugar Speedway Zone thing. Like that was a nod to fans thing. So
yeah.
I remember
So
the
the first
guy
one is
actually
called
Sorry, I just remembered the guy commented on it. It's like holy fuck, that's my thing. It's like yeah.
So the first one, yeah, the first one is called Flow the Ink. And this was based on a song by I'm trying to remember, um, Kyle Allen Music. And the description of this is telekinetically controls the ink around her, requires pool of ink, drops dark potion.
Okay.
So the second one is called Art of Darkness, and this one is based on a song by Stupendium. Uh, the description for this one is draws her cartoon henchman. It sinks back into a puddle of ink, and it drops the cursed amalgamation figure.
Nice.
The next one is called Nightmare Run, which is another Kyle Allen music song. But this one is based on the mobile game Bendy in Nightmare Run.
Yeah, I remember that.
So this one just says Meanie chases Susie Snowflake with a fanged cartoon hearse. Looks like Gasket from Nightmare Run.
Okay,
I don't have the drop listed for that one.
that's fine.
But,
You know what? Oh,
but if anyone wants to take a crack at what it should drop, let us know.
I have
We
one
feed
that
on your information.
I have a suggestion, but I think they will never do this because it was game breaking. But do you remember when we get Susie the first time, what she dropped originally?
Oh yeah, the
The black
I'm
gem.
trying to remember the name.
I'm trying to think
Yeah,
what it's called, but yeah, the black gem. Why not that?
I think it was like Soul in the Attic or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know. They have weird names, but yeah, I have to open up my game to see what it was called, but I can't for the life of me be
Or
bothered.
like or Beast in the Shadows or some shit.
Yeah,
It was one of those names.
yeah. You just know the black one.
I mean, it could be game breaking, but it depends.
I mean,
So
never mind.
the next one is called Devil Swing. Now this one is based on a Fandroid song called Devil Swing, and it's actually one of the second most popular Bendy song.
It's funny how you mentioned
Um,
fan swing. It kind of reminds me of there's a type of genre of music I think called electric swing. Have you ever heard of those?
oh, I love Electric Swing. That shit's
A,
fucking
a great
goated as
example,
hell,
a great
man.
yeah. So a great example, like there's been a lot of people who do it, but a great example of a band who's known for this is Caravan Palace.
I never heard of them, but I have heard of Tape 5.
Yeah, they they've done. I'm trying to think of popular. I guess the popular song that came out of them was God, what's that song? It has like, it was like it had a bunch of furry characters. I'm trying to think what it was called again. God, I gotta go on your Google and find. You'll go ahead and save stuff. Sorry.
Um, yeah, but what was I getting into? All right, yeah. So the description for Double Swing is Meanie dances with a cartoonish mallet in hand, with Baron clapping his hands. So this is something similar to like that one scene in the music video for Build Our Machine where it had Bendy and Boris like dancing along to the song,
Yeah.
and this one drops Ring.
Okay.
So the last three animations includes Sabotage Santa's Sleigh. Meanie and Baron are seen spray painting the sleigh. Requires cartoon sleigh. Drops Santa's toy bag.
Okay. I do want to point. So I found out what it was called. So the song that they're known for other songs, but the one that seems to be the most popular just because of the music video is called "Lone Digger."
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So that's the song that they're probably known for.
I
It's
know
catchy
one
too.
song I liked from. I know one song from Tape 5 I loved a lot. It was called Geraldine's Routine.
Yeah.
It's a really catchy song.
Yeah, they recently.
So
Yeah, sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was just saying that they've recently, like, they did a. I think they released an album this year that I was listening to, and one of the songs they did was called "Mad," which was more in the style of like 30s cartoons. So it's just interesting with that kind of, you know,
Ooh.
yeah, it's kind of a
Uh,
moody song,
so the
you know.
so the next animation is called Getting Rowdy. Uh, this is one of those indoor animations, but it's a little bit more different in a sense. So allow me to explain how this works. Meanie makes noises in her house, so she like walks into her house. However, sound effects can be seen on the outside of the house, saying bang, pow, boom,
Okay, so
and
it's
this
an animated task, but you don't get to see. You get to see the animation is the words that pop out from the house. Okay.
Yeah, and this is based on like if you actually showed the clip from Toon World, what happens is that when Toon World drops down and makes its grand appearance after the fog, large bubble letters pop out saying "Boom and Pow"
Yeah.
with like stars sprinkling everywhere. So this one drops a Blatodea progidium, and that's the plant roach.
Okay.
The last animation of hers is Baron. Throws a tattered doll of Susie Snowflake for Baron to fetch and bring back to her. And this one drops the ghost dog tag.
Now, I'm assuming that she can do this without him at first, and then
Yeah.
after the fact, when he gets released, then it's a tie animation.
Not quite. It's more like Terry's animations, like where, or no, not Terry's, but more like what was his name? Bean.
Okay, because originally I know that God, what her name is, I mean, Barbarous, Mistress Barbarous had something similar where the characters would have her, like even this update recently with like Lucy does like the guard dog is immediately, you know that was an animation for the dog, but they instead just had
Yeah.
Lucy, yeah. It's weird that they kind of did that. I guess I get why, but at the same time, yeah. All right, so I was just curious because I know you had him involved, so it's like, I guess if in that case it's like a sneak preview. It's like, oh, there's the next character coming in.
Well, I mean, I just did mention him as an NPC, but
Well, I mean, part two, maybe we'll get to learn more.
so now the next character that we're gonna look at is Susie. Susie has four animations.
Okay.
So the first one is called Glimpse of the Past. This has Susie watching an old past, which requires one of the film projectors. And this drops the cartoon banana peel.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna throw in another Susie thing for a moment. I've noticed recently that they've been for these games, these updates for these as of late. They've been throwing these animations of our like every character they put in there, they have at least one have a new animation associated. So I think
Yeah,
Piccolo might be a new one that has an animation because I made a mention. I released this Event 101 thing, and I've mentioned how there are two characters that released the big items this year. However, one of
yeah.
them, which was the Masked Mutant, is not animated. So the other one who drops the same item is Piccolo. And I think his is actually animated. So I'm just saying this right now because we have a Christmas update coming up. I swear to God, Susie better have an animation task or else I'm gonna be pissed off.
Right.
Like
Like, I
like
think what's really annoying is that there's also a chance that, assuming that she does have one, she won't keep it. Because if we look at part one of Ghost Beach, when you look at some of the characters who did have animations from the first Ghost Beach thing, they don't have it anymore.
yeah, or that's what happened with the Valentine's Day thing as well. Again, because of directions that we talked about recently earlier in this podcast video. But yeah. Anyways, sorry I interrupted. I just had a
No, it's
thought.
all good. Like I find that kind of annoying because I like I want the characters to have like a extensive list of like different animations, so that way they have a little bit more variety than just like the standard shit like
I get it
uh
too, and
have them look
I
around you,
also
whatever.
I also agree. I get that too. I think part of the problem is like they can't drop an item, so they just give them just coins and whatnot. But the other problem is if you don't have that item, people are gonna play new players who come in and be like, "How come I can't play this anime? It's so grayed out. I go click on it, it takes me to the shop. It's not there. Like what the fuck?" Right? And because
Yeah, I suppose
they
that's right.
have no way of actually coding it so that if you don't have this item, don't show it, right? Because it's old and whatnot. So they might be thinking, well, the best not do that. We'll just not put it back in. That's my takeaway, what I think. But I
Yeah.
don't know. They have a small team, so they can only do so much. So I'll trust them to let them cook. But you know, maybe in the future, if they do bring the special books back, maybe they'll bring that back in that form. But yeah, I agree.
So the next item is called Dance with Jack Frost. Susie dances with Jack Frost. Both look monochrome and rubber hose, and requires the frosty snow globe. And this drops the cartoon mallet.
That would be interesting to see what they look like. That I guess their eyes would be more like the weird cartoony black, weird
Yeah, the
Mickey
pie-cut
Mouse
eyes,
eyes.
as it's commonly called.
Yeah, I wonder
The
what
next
Jack.
one is called. Huh?
Sorry, I was just wondering what Jack Frost would look like.
I have a basic idea of what he would look like.
Okay.
So the next one is called "To Tempt Your Tummy." This one is a dual quest thing, or dual animation thing, which requires another character. So Susie offers Andy a fresh batch of gingerbread cookies to Andy, to which she eats one, which
Why
now
am I not
requires.
surprised?
Huh?
I am not surprised.
Well, of course. Requires Andy and tummy tempting cookies. This one drops Christmas cookies.
You know what I noticed too is that
And
the
now,
last update this update they released, they had packs and they had Susie included in one of the packs, but she has nothing to do with this update, so it's weird. But again,
the last of her the last of her animations is Steamboat Susie. So becomes monochrome and steers Tuggy Tugboat in a similar fashion to Steamboat Willie. And this one drops the cartoon prop box.
I want to say I'm sorry.
For what?
I'm interrupting you all the time. It's like you say something, I'm like, oh, I gotta say this thing.
No, it's all good.
I hate this update. Okay, you can continue. Another reason why I hate this update.
So the next character is Andy. Andy technically has two, but we already talked.
The one.
So I'll get into the second one. The second one is called Dark Survival. And this was based on another fan song by DA Games, which is based on a song called for Boris and the Dark Survival.
I've never played that. I've seen people play that game, but I never actually played it.
It's like a bird's eye view of like
Yeah, it's like
steering Boris from Bendy.
yeah. Was it good?
So huh?
Was it good?
I don't know. I haven't played it either.
Oh, okay. I was
so
could be crap for all we know.
So Dark Survival is stands in a puddle of ink as Meanie stalks her. It requires pool of ink. Drops cartoon trap.
Yeah.
Mrs. Dark has an animation called Not Again, and she runs away as Meanie chases her with the cartoon hearse. Drops the mallet.
All right.
Chris Claus has an animation.
Because of course he does.
This one is called Tap Dance with Susie. Now, this is actually inspired by a excerpt from Holly Jolly Holiday, where it's described where Susie Snowflake in the TV show dances with Santa.
I'm just curious of how he dances, right? Because I'm picturing fucking chameleon dance going on there. You know what I'm talking about? Him just like
Yeah.
he does a tap dancing and then like he's tapping his shoes and then his shadow just fucking go all out.
I was kind of like thinking more of like a Irish step dance type of thing.
Okay, because the other thing too is that we could just have him do the slappy. If you remember that.
It says here, tap dances with Susie Snowflake under Susie's Holly Jolly Dust. Drops banana split.
Oh god. Just harass people with dust. Here, Slappy, have some dust. Oh yes, please.
Oh yes, sprinkle your jolly all over me.
Boing.
The funny thing about that part in the comic was I was trying to make it seem unsettlingly sexual in a sense.
I don't know if I did a good job on that though. I tried to be more silly with it though. I
Yeah,
I love that I did you said glitching out and I immediately thought, oh yes, the laugh
the jingle and
left for
shit.
dead sound. Ragdoll physics.
Yeah. So Lucy, Marty, and Dustin all have animations, sort of.
Okay.
Only so Lucy, Marty, and Dustin, and who else do I have written here? Oh yeah, Aaron Wright. Yes, Aaron is in this. Um, the first animation that all four of them have is, well, it's not exactly an animation. It's one of those indoor things. It's called a Watch a Susie cartoon, and the Well, actually, Aaron's is a little different. So Lucy, Marty, and Dustin have Watch a Susie cartoon, and they all drop the cartoon ink. With Lucy, she has Investigate Meanie's house, which drops the cartoon trap.
Okay.
With Marty, he has Make the Ice Vampire, and that drops the Marshmallow Surprise. And with Dustin, he has Make the Ice Cobra, which drops the Banana Peel.
Interesting with the marshmallow surprise. It's a hot chocolate with no marshmallow. It's like, why is it called a marshmallow surprise? Because it turns your bones into marshmallow surprise. Can you imagine that? Like that's a fucking like you can't move. No, actually, you can't even walk. Actually, could you? I'm just wondering, like, if it's just like actual marshmallow like product, or is it like?
I don't know. I kind of like imagine it as like a dip thing when they turn into like bologna, but like marshmallows.
Yeah, it's interesting too because it's like it's only affected to humans. So if you're a monster, it doesn't have no effect apparently.
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh, you're a monster. Oh shit, wrong poison.
Next is Aaron Wright, which has Watch an Old Susie cartoon, which requires the film projector. This drops the cartoon mallet.
Okay.
And lastly, we have Conrad, and he only has one animation, which is Fend Off the Toons. Conrad blasts a magical beam at one of Meanie's cartoon henchmen, who dodges it but creeps closer. This one drops the trap.
Would he be in his wizard form, I guess?
Yeah.
Using his ice magic. It'd be interesting too because I'm just thinking about this because of how this is like I'm curious to see how the story goes about this. But one of the one of the things is that, you know, you're hearing a lot of this and thinking that this is so cool. I can't wait to see it. But then you go, oh yeah, they probably will never add, they probably won't even add all this. It'd be like too much work. You got one animation. You just get one. Uh, I
So now we head on to the story, which is called Tune In Tomorrow.
meh.
Yeah, so we start off with Curly. Meh.
Meh. Of course, favorite punny narrator.
So the quest dialogue is a little bit more condensed for each stage. So that means only a few lines of text and then not like what I did for Batwing Hall.
Yeah, so it's just like a narrative story. So this one's more to the point.
Yeah. So starts off with Curly. Welcome back, player. Do you recall that annoying pest Susie Snowflake? Of course you have. But what if I told you that Susie Snowflake was more unique than you thought? See, there's a story about her that you don't know, and it involves a studio, Holly Jolly Studios to be precise. And this story is a tale of magic, betrayal, and a lot of ink. So it starts off with the quest then. And then, like, the ending part of the quest is just like, Susie, thank you for spending Christmas with me, Andy. Andy, yeah, no problem. Susie, what do you want to do? Oh, how about we build a snowman? Andy, nah, reminds me of that annoying movie. Susie, no idea what you mean, but okay. Andy, right, you probably never heard of it, have you? I think it's called Freezing or something. So that's like a little nod to like Frozen and that really fucking annoying song that's like really popular when it was released.
Yeah, I know. Even the Simpsons made fun of it in a sense. But what's funny about Let It Be or something like that, I guess that's a version. Speaking of that, there was a movie called Frozen that wasn't the animated. Like it was actually a horror. I guess it's not really horror, but it is like I guess a thriller is the best way to put it. It's I don't know if you know about this. The story is like these guys are going on these they're going snowboarding right down on a hill. So you know you go those
Right.
ski lifts, so they go in the ski lift at night, and then the power shuts off, and they're stuck in the middle of this fucking in the middle of the night on this fucking ski thing, right? At up 1,000 feet of the air. So they're like, "Fuck, we're stuck," and it's getting colder. So it's like that whole it's like whoa, and it was called Frozen. So it's like that was before I think the cartoon movie came out. So I don't know, just like two Frozens. But yeah, freezing.
uh,
I'm just
so now it moves on to the next bit of dialogue. Susie, oh, how about I bake you some Christmas cookies to tempt your tummy? Andy, actually, Christmas cookies do sound good. Alrighty, I'll bake us some fresh cookies. Do you prefer gingerbread or shortbread? I remember when my mom made cookies, she'd do gingerbread, and we would make gingerbread houses when I was sick. Maybe we can make one ourselves. And then quest ending dialogue. That was fun. I just like when I was 6 again. I'm so glad I could make you smile. That's what I'd love to do. How would you like to watch some old Christmas specials with me? Sure, what should we watch? Well, I have a large collection of them back at my place. Let's go take a look. Cuts to the next dialogue set. See anything you like? Hey, I think you got a letter. Letter? Ooh, I love getting letters. What does it say? Dear sis, it's been a while, hasn't it? You should come see me at the old studio. I have something to show you. So that's like based on the letter that Joey
Yeah,
Drew
yeah,
gives
the
to
Joe
Henry
suit,
Meanie
yeah,
and the Egg
yeah.
Machine.
The looping thing going on there, type of stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
out of curiosity, does Jack Frost doesn't get mentioned at all, does he?
Uh, I would have to reread through all of this myself again since it's been a while since I worked on this.
Because for some
But
reason, yeah, because for some reason I had a joke I had in mind because I just reminded myself of a certain Christmas movie.
oh,
Yeah, I could do it now if you want, but I don't know.
yeah, sure, go ahead.
I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow. Did it.
Oh yeah.
I
I'm
remember
Mr. Snow Miser.
I'm Mr. Yeah. Someone made a
I'm
version.
Master Tony Below.
They made a version of that, but it's like them with drugs. So it's like Mr. Crack. Did it.
I'm Mr. White Powder. I'm
I'm Mr.
Mr.
Crack.
Bull.
Did it. Yeah. Sorry, this is something I
Anyways,
mentioned because it's just like mentioning Christmas movies, and I'm just like immediately just like da.
yeah, I remember that. Let's see. Oh yeah. Andy. See you soon, dearie. M. Snowflake. Who's this from? My sister is here in Horrortown. That's not good. Quest.
Sad
And
face.
then like Andy, your sister? Meanie is her name. My evil sister. How come I never saw her in any of your cartoons? She was kind of the reason why we stopped making cartoons. It's like, at first, she was first introduced in the 50s. After that, the studio was falling on hard times. Hard times? Yeah, but I somehow, uh, but I was somehow brought to life after that. I don't know why, but that was the case. So we get a little bit of Susie lore.
Yeah, I'm just reminded of the whole like Meanie's the responsible of this. Oh, this is the Sonic Shadow arc going on here. It's the edgy era. I need to make an edgy OC. Speaking of, they released
Ooh,
Sonic Generations with Shadow, right?
yeah.
And even go as far as that, the Shadow character that was supposed to be Shadow, but they changed it, and they're like, "Oh, we have it as a skin now for him." And just like that's cringy.
Cringe. Yeah, a lot of Sonic stuff has been popping up recently since the Shadow shit.
And a lot of people aren't happy too because, of course, they decide to change things. It's like you can't just keep it the original, huh? You had a problem with Sonic pushing Amy away. Now he doesn't do that because it's you know not saying the word.
I
Because
mean, that was the whole core of like Amy's personality. I don't know
yeah,
why they would get rid
she
of it.
was all I need to come like I need to hug you a bunch. It's just like no, we stop. Stop. She was even doing it for like mean purposes. It's like you're too much. Stop. It's like you know what it is? Have you ever had a dog that like is so friendly, like to the point where it wants to lick you all the time, but it gets to a point where okay, okay, no, stop.
Yeah,
That's what I feel like with
actually, the
Amy
sad
and
part is I
Sonic.
have actually experienced that firsthand.
I have one now. That I'm
And the
dealing with
reason
him
why
now.
I say it was And the reason why I say the sad part is because there was actually like a stray dog that, or not exactly a stray dog. I guess the dog kind of just like wandered off from their owners or something. And I
Mm,
came across this dog, and I was taking care of it and everything until like we had to call animal control to send, or not animal control, but like humane society to bring him back to his owners.
yeah,
And he was like overly friendly with me. I was like really like I was like, oh wow, I wish I had a fucking dog now
yeah.
because I would like walk with it. I would like feed it. all this other fun stuff. And like I was told that the dog itself, like the dog would be friendly with people, but it would miss me specifically. And every time I would like show up, it would just be like super duper happy and shit. I was like, oh, that touches my heart so much.
Yeah, that's funny because we have a dog right now, or a puppy. I should say a puppy because technically it is. My brother Lon heard the story with his dog passing and all that, so he got another one. I think it was too
Yeah.
soon, but whatever. So this one it's same breed, but it's a different type. His personality is more like he's very friend. Like like when he wags his tail, he wags it so much that his butt wiggles at the same time. So he's like over wiggling it. And every time he
Oh yeah.
like he brings a toy, he just brings anything. He brings it in his mouth. He says like, look what I got. It's like, and he's like always wants affection, like any chance he gets. So it's just like he's very needy, I guess is the best way to put it. It's not it's nice, but it gets overbearing sometimes. And
Right.
because of his size, it's like you have to remind ourselves, it's like, oh yeah, he's a puppy, he still doesn't know, but still, it's like he's getting better over age and whatnot, but it's still kind of a if you've dealt with a puppy, you know how much of a handful they are, especially if it's a
Right.
big dog. It's like
Well,
even
I
worse.
I had a dog. I had the dog for like a short amount of time, so I don't really know the hard work that goes into taking care of a dog. So I don't exactly have a whole lot of experience with that. But
And also the
I
hardship that
don't.
comes with it, man. But
But that's
anyway,
not like me saying, "Oh, I never experienced that, so
I
I don't
hate
have to worry."
dogs.
Like I understand like a lot of things. Like I've had like other animals before, like birds and cats and fish and shit. So I know how taking care of animals typically goes.
Yeah,
So I'd assume a dog is like almost no different from a cat.
yeah, definitely. Although cats are more independent, dogs are more like they're more like they are emotionally like need. Again, I'm sorry, we're getting off topic. We should continue on with your story.
Yeah.
Me and my
All
dumb
right.
dumbass.
So
It's just like, oh, I need to talk about something else now. It's just like, stop, fucking 88 skull scarecrow brain. Stop it. Shut up. Zip your mouth. Okay, you can continue. Sorry.
wouldn't be surprised if this part of the fucking convo got cut up from the main thing and gets stick to your secondary channel.
No, no. It's not gonna go that long, and I'm too lazy.
All right. So Susie, if she's here, then she's still roaming in the old Holly Jolly studio. Andy, the studio is here? Yeah, she always wanted to ruin Christmas for me. Thankfully, I'm too strong-willed for that. Well, let's go see what she wants. You actually want to go there? Yeah, when's the last time you saw her? I want to say since 1954, so 66 years. Maybe
Damn.
she's lonely. And then Quest, and then ending part of Quest. Hey, you two. This is Aaron. Hey, you two. Where are you both going? Oh, hey, Aaron. We're just heading off to the studios to see Susie's sister. Holly Jolly Studios? That abandoned animation studio from 1954? Abandoned? Yeah, it was abandoned because of the use of unusual magical practices. Presumably the same magic that brought Susie Snowflake to life.
Oh,
Like
God.
Christmas magic? Huh?
No, no, go on.
Like Christmas magic? No, something more dark, I'm afraid. And then it cuts to a new set of dialogue. Did you want to say something before I continue?
I was just gonna say, yeah, I was just thinking about that. It's just like, oh yeah, Satan magic, great. We need to make a
Satan.
deal with Susan. Ellie comes in. Well, I hear you want to make a deal. I'll do it on one
Andy.
condition. I I come back in 50 years to cause chaos. You
Actually, it
build a
kind of
pool
reminds me
for
of this
me.
one D&D joke where, I guess one of the characters, female Fae, and she was like, "Okay, so we made the deal. So the deal is that I do this thing for you, and I get to claim your firstborn child." It's like, "Yep, that's fine." It's like, "So you understand the terms?" "Yep. When do we start?" "What? When do we start?" Because the character is like a male.
Yeah.
Anyway, next set, Andy. Here we are, Holly Jolly Studios. Aaron, we have to be very careful as the entire place may be cursed. Andy, I didn't think that robots believed in such things. Aaron, we live in a town that has aliens, ghosts, demons, and magical creatures. You think that curses aren't a possibility to me? Andy, seems silly to me that seems silly to me to say now that you mention it. Susie, and if I know my sister, she's going to try and set up traps. Andy, hopefully nothing too dangerous. Aaron, I'll make sure we're okay. Quest, then ending quest. Andy, this
Famous
place
last
seems
words.
empty. Huh?
Famous last words. I'll make sure nothing bad happens. Oh no, something bad happens.
Andy, this place seems empty. Aaron, I don't sense any life in this place. Andy, except spiders by the looks of those cobwebs. Susie, ellipses. Andy, hey, does anybody hear something? Aaron, yeah, it sounds like music. Andy, let's see where it's coming from. Next set of dialogue. Andy, is that a film projector? Aaron, Faraday has a few of those back at Shocker Studios. Susie, ellipses. Andy, hey Susie, it's you. You look so animated here. Aaron, I recall this art style. Rubber hose, they call it, as the limbs of these characters were skinny and noodly like a rubber hose. Susie, I haven't seen this in years. I remember this cartoon. This was my first debut episode back in 1937. Andy, bringing back some memories. Susie, yeah. Then Quest,
I remember this back in
did you?
1952. We had to say diggity. It was a style at the time.
Andy, hey, do you hear that? Aaron, I sense another noise just behind us, but it's gone. Susie, it's most likely her. Aaron, wait, I detect a being through the wall. Andy, is it Meanie? Aaron, no, it's a dog? Baron, ruff, ruff. Susie, that's Baron, Meanie's brutish Rottweiler. Andy, this guy doesn't seem keen on letting us go. Susie, I knew this was a trap. Show yourself, Meanie. Ink Noel. She'll be joining us momentarily. That's like one of the elves. Andy, and who the hell are you? Noel, one of Meanie's henchmen. I'm Noel, the elf. Susie, henchman? You used to make toys with Santa. Noel, yes, we did. Then we were summoned to this plane. Have you any idea how much this place hurts us? Quest.
It's like
Then
the
end of quest.
zombie. My life is a misery.
Well, considering that they were quote unquote failed experiments, sort of speak. Susie was like the perfect specimen, but the others were like failed specimens because their bodies kept like melting in a sense.
Nice.
So it causes them like immense pain to try and keep them stable.
Yeah.
Uh, Noel, Baron, take him to the cartoonomatic. Andy, the what? Baron, rough. Aaron, hey, put us down, you mangy ruffian. Susie, hey, let my friends go. Noel, under one condition. Meanie needs your ink to sustain us. Susie, what? Noel, your ink is stable. Ours is not. We are in constant pain to keep these forms. Your ink will stabilize us for eternity. Andy, you're all mad. Noel, if you don't comply, we'll sacrifice your friends instead. Susie, ellipses. Andy, don't even give this a second thought. And punches Baron. Baron, row. Or no, wait. I actually have him written down like he was supposed to speak like Scooby, like row,
Uh-oh.
row, Reggie,
Oh, Reggie.
row, row. Anyway, Andy, let's go. Meanie, not so fast, my little sheep. Susie, Meanie, and then Quest, and then end of Quest. Andy, so you're the twisted freak that wants to sacrifice Susie. Susie, but Meanie, we're sisters. Why would you want to hurt me? Haven't I been nice to you? Meanie, yes, you have. And it makes me sick. And then transforms into Ink Meanie. And these forms are torturous for us to sustain. We need your ink to sustain us. Meanie, I know you're hurt, but sacrifice won't help you. You know nothing. You got off lucky. Not this time, though. And then next set of dialogue. Sheep, sheep, it's time for sleep. Rest your head. It's time for bed. In the morning you may wake, or in the morning you'll be dead. So this part of the dialogue is actually inspired by another song called "Composer Struggles,"
Okay.
and this was part of the chorus for that song in particular.
Okay.
And Composer Struggles was based on Sammy Lawrence, who was the composer for the Bendy universe. So, no, Susie, you can't do this. Join us in the black abyss, Susie. You might even survive the pain. I have a better idea. Try a little holly jolly dust. Sprinkles it on Noel and Baron, who both cough. Then cuts to the quests, and then ending quest. Andy, Aaron, run! Get them, you fools! We need that ink! Baron, growl, bark, bark. Andy, we're out. See you, creepy cartoon rejects. Aaron, let's never go back there again. Baron, growl. Ink Meanie, don't worry, Baron. We'll get Susie soon enough. We just need to bide our time a little longer. Next set of dialogue. This is the ending part of the dialogue soon. So there's like the
Early.
first half and then the last half.
Yeah.
So
So I just want to add, sorry, before you end this. It's hailing right now outside outside my crypt. I'm just looking outside. I'm just hearing noises. Like, what is that? I look outside. And I'm like, oh, good. I'm seeing little balls from the sky. Oh,
it's a little
God. The crappy weather is coming. It's already here. I'm scared. I'm frightened.
pretty sunny on my end. Anyway, Andy, I'm so sorry I forced you to go to that studio. Susie, it's okay. My sister, though, I need to set her free, free from her pain. And how do we do that, Aaron? I think it may be best if we did a bit of extensive research on Holly Jolly Studios. Yes, I need to know what magic was used to bring all of us to life, and why I was the odd one out. Andy, right, but I think we need to cool our heads first before we do anything. Quest. And then ending dialogue with Curly. Don't worry, player. The story doesn't end here for old Meanie Snowflake and her cartoon gang. In fact, I think to interest you a bit more, I have a cartoon I wish to show you. A cartoon from 1953 called Meanie and the Toy Machine. Enjoy the show, player. So that alludes to the quest, the side quest for Meanie Snowflake when you get her,
Meanwhile,
which
while
is
you
called
wait, why don't you
Meanie.
go play a new Pixel game?
Yeah,
I heard
so Meanie
Pixel
and the
made a
Toy
new game.
Machine.
It's spooky.
So the
I
dialogue
hate.
for the
God damn it, Shirley. Why? I'm sorry.
So the quest for Meanie and the Toy Machine is based off Bendy and the Ink Machine, or yeah. So there's like a not so subtle reference.
Yeah. Unlike the whole look
Yeah.
of it, it's like that's not a nod or anything already.
Yeah. So it starts off with Curly like, if I'm to be pretty honest, I don't like any of the Susie Snowflake cartoons. They're too overly sweet and sickeningly sappy. That is, until around the late 30s, Holly Jolly Studios created a rival to Susie. Before the studio went under, they created Meanie Snowflake, the exact opposite to Susie. Drool. So does that mean she hates Christmas? Curly. Hate is putting it mildly, Drool. She downright detests it, loathes it to the bone. But I think you should see for yourself what we mean. Grab some popcorn and enjoy this mini cartoon. Then there's the quest. Uh, Meanie. Grr, I hate my sister Susie. She's too nice and sweet. It sickens me. We should do something to make this Christmas the worst she's ever had. Baron. Ruff. Next set of dialogue. This is where we also get Santa, but this is like a more nice version. Chris's Santa. So,
Well, I'm assuming it's basically Chris, but make him look more not creepy.
happy.
Just take this Chris's model and make him look like not like that. Make him look
Yeah.
like a good and a happy Santa, not like I want to murder you Santa. You've
Yeah.
been good this year.
It's like, what?
It's like the Santa from Christmas Story. Ho ho.
Yes. I would rather make him look more happy than like Why didn't you leave me any cookies and milk, Billy?
You've been a very bad boy. You don't want me to send
Anyway,
breakfast over, do you?
Santa, thank you for helping our elves make toys. Noel, without you, Christmas would be ruined. Chauncey, you're a hero, Susie. Susie, of course. It always makes me holly jolly, full of joy to help make the world smile with Christmas cheer. Meanie, ugh, how can anyone even like her? She's too icky. Baron, let's sabotage Santa's sleigh so he can't leave. Baron snickers, but his snickering, I wanted to make it seem like uh
Snidely's dog.
no, it's Muttley.
Muttley, yeah.
Yeah, Muttley. Just like
I don't know why. I'm just reminded of the Scoob movie. It's just like Dick Dastardly. Please call me Dick. Okay, Rick. No, Dick with a D. Rick with a re. Dick, Dick, Dick. Dick.
so
That's so stupid, but I remember that.
so then there's the quest, and then Meanie. Quick, let's split before they notice. Baron, rough. Meanie, quiet, Baron. You want us to get caught? Baron whimpers. Santa, oh no, someone sabotaged my sleigh. Chauncey, now Santa can't deliver the presents. Susie, I think I know who did this, but no need to fret, Santa. With a little Christmas magic and um, uh, pretty bitty please with Christmas trees, we can fix it up in no time.
I'm already.
Of course, that's a
Sorry.
huh?
Finish.
Of course, that's a brilliant idea, Susie. And then Meanie, you're joking. Santa, pretty bitty please with Christmas trees. Fix my sleigh before Christmas Eve. And then fixes the sleigh.
I love.
Yay, it worked!
I love that
Okay, quest.
meme stuff. I'm immediately the cringy dialogue. I would be like, "Oh no!" the bad acting on purpose. Now
Yes.
Santa won't do anything. Christmas is
The quest.
ruined.
And then ending dialogue. I can't believe this. Pretty bitty please with Christmas trees? What a joke! We need a new plan, one entirely foolproof. Baron, ruff ruff. You have an idea? Don't just stand there, tell me. Then the next set of dialogue. Steal the toy machine? What a brilliant idea! If we steal the toy machine, then Santa's dumb elves can't make toys. Ruff ruff. Yeah, and we can recalibrate it to make us root beer. Because that's like the more kid-friendly version of just regular beer. It's just root
Yes,
beer.
yes.
Ooh.
It's like with the Addams. It's just well, we need to see them as hungover and whatnot. What can we do? Ah, yes, catnip. Yes, the drunken toys. Oh, you say, oh, what happened to them? Oh, they took too much catnip back there. God
Baron.
damn, fuck.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just, like Snoopy did the same thing, by the way. It's like instead of beer, it's root beer, right? Actually, you know what? That just
right.
realized something. Does that mean that I know we know Crosby has a bar or a pub, but is the pub like
Yeah.
with beer? It's I get. You know what? What am I saying? Yes, of course it does. Because
Yeah,
let's
because
remind
Andy gets a
ourselves
hangover.
that, and also let's remind ourselves of the Sorrow Chokers. I still love that name. That is the best name for something like that.
What
I'm gonna
what
have
was the name?
myself a sorrel choker.
Oh yeah, the Sorrow Choker.
Yeah,
And then
the
yeah, of course,
implication of
Andy
like
also
beer.
has
That's what I love that. That's the name for beer, sorrel chokers.
and then these have Andy have her. So yeah, there's obviously a little bit more adult themes in this series than
Yeah,
Adams or Snoopy,
yeah,
which I especially like because it's not too overly adult, but it just has like little adult references like alcohol.
yeah. It's the cool it's a bad boy.
Yeah, root beer is for all the cool kids. Anyway, Baron snickers. Meaty, now help me get this stupid thing. Baron. So this is like more Muttley noises.
Nice.
So, quest and then ending dialogue. Hey Santa, where do you keep your super special awesome toy machine? So that line, super special awesome, is actually based on Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series by Lil Karibo, where he has Yugi basically say super special awesome something.
Oh, yeah. Now remembering it. It's been so long since I've been because the only thing I remember from that series is making fun of the fact that one of the characters was voiced by what was his name? He voiced all the characters, but he's known also for voicing Barney. So it's like my voice gives me super strength.
My voice gives me super strength.
I love you.
Yeah, and there's like an actual joke where it's like the voice of Tristan will be voiced by Barney the dinosaur because they just both basically sound the same.
Yeah.
It's just Barney talking.
Screw the
I
rules. I have
love
green
you.
hair.
I love that series.
Dick that did the rules.
Uh,
Screw the rules. I have money. And then at one
so
point they
yeah, there's
showed the actual season 0. It's like, screw the rules. I have green hair.
like, whoa, I did a lot of drugs back then. I should probably cut that out. So Santa, oh, it should be over. Hey, where is it? Chauncey, oh no, Santa's super special awesome toy machine. It's stolen. Susie, oh no, not stolen. Noel, how are we going to make toys without the toy machine? Santa, this is terrible. Who would steal my toy machine? Susie, I think I know who.
God, it's like a
So,
pattern now. It's like that's just what she does. She's just like, I know who did it, but I'm not telling.
yeah,
Why?
it's
Who
supposed to be
who
one of
did
those
it,
cheesy
Susie?
Christmas
I'm
specials,
not
so
telling.
like Susie knows.
It's like no, seriously, Susie, who's doing this? Like, it's so it's like, Susie, thank you so much for helping me, but seriously, I need to know who's doing this. I need to stop this right now. I need to call the cops. I need to call the snow police. This is
The snow
this is
police.
ridiculous.
I can just imagine the snow police just like go around patrolling other people's yards to see how much snow is in their yard. And it's like over like
There's
five
too much
inches. And
snow.
they're like breaking the law.
Violated the rules.
And there's
There's
just
too
like a
much
couple of
snow.
snowmen too with like police uniforms.
Yeah,
And if you like break the law, they just beat you with giant ass candy canes.
that's what I think too. Oh no. It's like put you in jail for candy canes. It's just like, how did he escape? Oh, well, now I'm thinking about it out loud. That's probably a bad idea.
It's like, don't you think about eating those candy canes, or we'll just beat you with more candy canes.
Joke's on you. We put, that stuff on the Nintendo Switch to stop people from eating the cartridges. We put them on the candy canes. Have fun. Ugh.
No, better yet, the fucking bars are made of black licorice and nobody will eat them.
Ugh, black liquor.
Just like one bite, it's like,
Yeah,
it's just like
I love
the
that. It's
face
just
of
like
cat snake
it's
with
like we'll put you in the licorice bar. Ha! Joke's on you. I love licorice. Black licorice.
Yeah, it's like one bite from the bars, and they just make the same face similar to like a cat when you like show it like a really stinky thing of socks.
The casual thing. Or that's Patrick when he drinks, like, how, like, what? It's been like a week? Well, let me see. And he puts the milk out and he's like, oh, yes, it is.
Oh,
7.5.
I remember that. Oh, that was so fucking gross. I
I
can't stand
remember,
the sight of like
and then also,
moldy
yeah, it's so
liquids.
disgusting and all, but technically you can eat that. Like, you won't die from it.
No, no. Oh god, that just makes my
That's,
stomach churn. I don't want to think about that anymore.
milky cheese.
Well, anyone who likes blue, like the thing is, the
Oh,
mold
I
in
know,
blue
blue
cheese is
cheese is rotten.
intentionally made to look like that. But in any other regular cheese, you're not supposed to eat that shit.
Sometimes I just am amazed with cheese because it's like stuff we eat, like, there's the fake American cheese, right? But then there are some cheese that is a delicacy and some that are or illegal. Like up in Canada, you can't have this, but there's something called mega cheese.
Mega cheese?
Mega cheese.
Oh, MAGA cheese.
No, megates, like as in like little fly
Oh,
babies.
oh,
Oh! Ew!
Oh God, no! Now I'm thinking of Megan Ice Cream. Oh, why are you doing this, Grim?
I'm
This is fucking gross.
meaning out of you.
Oh, now I'm just reminded of cockroach milk. Oh, why are you
Yeah,
doing this to me?
yeah, the poison smoothies. Mm. Poison milkshake.
Oh God, no one wants
Balanced
to hear about
breakfast.
Meg ice cream and cockroach milk. Let's just
Mm.
move on.
I'm just God, I'm not gonna mention anything else, but I'm just reminded of there's Meat Canyon did this thing where it's like, if we're gonna do Thanksgiving, let's do the worst possible dishes we can, and we rank out the worst ones, and they're like, all right, this is our meal, this is our appetizer, this is our drink, this is our food. It's like this is god awful food that people
Ugh.
eat, but it's like, like yellow, it's like God. It's like we want to make everyone miserable. All right, here we go. Happy Thanksgiving. You better be thankful for this.
I'm not thankful for that at all. Ugh. Anyway,
That's a cruel
getting back to
joke
the
someone
story before
does,
I
man.
getting back to the story before I churn over dead.
Never a dull moment on the HTTV podcast.
So, Susie, just as I thought, Meanie Snowflake stole the machine, trying to sabotage Christmas as usual. That Meanie will never learn. It does like that, typical, like, oh, good guy just shames the villain and that stereotypical head shaking thing. And I was like, oh, you'll never learn. You silly.
Oh, silly
Then
Billy.
she knocked, huh?
It's like, oh, silly Billy.
Oh, you're so silly. Anyway, it's like she knocks on the door. Meanie, what do you want, sis? Susie, Meanie, I know you took the toy machine. Will you please return it? Pretty bitty please with Christmas trees. Meanie, no. Slam.
No,
So
no,
it's like long ellipses and then no. And then slams the door right in her face.
no. Squidward.
Then no.
Fuck you, SpongeBob.
So the I can't think of this now. Yes, no, I'm just imagining Squidward dressed up as Meanie.
Please. No.
Oh, slam. Anyway, so quest and then regular ending dialogue. That didn't go well as planned. Oh shit. Oh well, it's time for my ace in the hole. Knock knock. Meanie, I told you to scram, puppy dog. Susie then pulls the puppy dog face. Like, pretty bitty please with Christmas trees. Meanie, why do I keep falling for that trick? Because
That
it's like a
yeah, it's a cliche thing. It's like a Puss in Boots face. It's just like, yeah, yeah. But you know what's funny? God, that's reminding me. There was a scene from, I don't know what inspired. It must have been. I think it was Batman and Harley Quinn. I think it was. It was like a. I don't want to say it's a movie, but it basically. Um, Harley Quinn teams up with Batman to help them with.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, like I think it was to
We're
try to
trying to
get.
stop like poison ivy.
Yeah, to try to go, to try to stop, I think, Poison Ivy with some other guy, and she's just like, fine, I'm gonna tell out, like, you may be with no choice. What are you doing? I'm putting out the big guns, baby. Don't you dare! And this just shows a sad face.
Yeah, yeah,
Works every time. Whew!
yeah. That's basically Susie and
Could you
puppy dog
imagine them
face.
actually doing the picture of that, like in the like, the art, you don't expect it, and it's just come back and it's you see sad face. It's like, God, oh Jesus, that's terrifying.
And then it goes into the ending part. I don't think I intended a quest for this one, but it's just like ending dialogue. So
Yeah.
Santa, you know you shouldn't steal, Meanie. Yeah, I know that. Thanks for
Yeah,
bringing it back, Meanie. Someone deserves a holiday hug. Meanie, touch me and I'll make you regret it.
I'm
And
just
then
reminded.
like it ends with and then it ends with
Oh,
literally
someone's
like
so
this
sad.
was one of the
I know.
huh?
You need a big hug from Fester. Don't even think about it. See, now you're all good inside.
And
Just
then
reminded of that scene,
Curly is just like,
the Goofy
then
movie.
Curly. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just joking with the Goofy movie thing. It's just like the don't hug me thing.
Oh.
Don't even
So
think
then,
about it, buddy.
Curly ends it with, or not so. This was one of the few episodes of Holiday featuring Meanie. Unfortunately, the studio went under, and the CEO had to do something drastic. Stay tuned, player.
That was
And then that was part one of Tune In Tomorrow.
and then he gets slappy. That's it. That's like the what do you call it? The egg monster Mars. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
we're squeezing this as much as possible.
Hey, we have to. It's time constraints and a lot of money and all this other shit.
What like Flappy? We're in a dire strait right now. We only have small people working on this game. We're trying our best here. just
And then Slappy's like, "But I'm the king of Horrortown, god damn it! I
stop
want more
fucking breaking
content."
the fourth wall, damn it. That's my gig. I always break the
Pixel,
fourth wall. We
it's like
break the
Pixel,
fourth.
get your shit together.
We're being the Simpsons tapped out now.
Yeah, we're going into that ending phase. It's like, no, don't you dare utter those words again.
You hear that, EA? You know what's weird about that too? I don't know why, but I did a video basically talking about the tapped out ending thing, and that for some reason that fucking blew up. I got like 1.2K views, which is surprising. I got only one dislike, which is actually pretty good because I'm like, wow, all those people. Only one guy didn't like it.
Sorry, didn't like what?
I was just saying that, like with the Simpsons stuff, like one of the videos I released recently was talking about the final update for Simpsons Tapped Out, and for some reason that video blew up. I got a lot of views on
Oh
that,
yeah.
like 1.2K, and like I got 25 likes and only one dislike.
Oh
That's
wow.
pretty good. Only like one guy didn't like it.
It's like 25 people are like, "Oh yeah, this is great," and then one guy, "I didn't like it." It's
I
the
guess he didn't like.
down
I guess he didn't like the monkey meme.
like this one has monkeys. I fucking hate monkeys.
Oh
Downvote.
no! Oh no! What do you call that? Mad? Was it Mad? God, what's his name? From the Planet of the Apes. Bad Ape. That's it.
Oh yeah, I remember that
Oh
meme. I love that one.
no! I think
Oh
it was a meme.
no!
Oh
I
no!
love that meme.
Yeah. Anyways, I did that in precise, but yeah, I love where this is going. Susie just brings the best and worst of us. It's shaping up to be a wonderful holiday. Not anymore. Yeah, it's just
So, what did you think of the concept?
I love it. I'm curious to see how part two goes about, but yeah, it sounds good. It's not very like yeah, it does have Susie and all that and items and whatnot, but it doesn't feel Christmassy except for the second half with the special as it were, which I guess it makes sense, right? But it's one of those weird things, right?
Well, yeah, but it does make like I try to make like uh, how do I put this? I can understand why it doesn't have too many Christmassy stuff, even though there are Christmas things. It's
Yeah,
just
it's hard to put. It's
this
hard
was
to. Yeah, sorry, it's just hard to explain that.
so like so this is basically like an introduction to both Meanie and Baron. So the
Yeah,
second half will be a lot more Christmassy than the first one. This is basically like the November stage, you know, when
yeah.
you're just getting off the spooky, but like transitioning into the
You're
jolly.
starting to hear Christmas music already.
Oh God,
I
when you start,
love that. It's like I'm going for Halloween. Christmas music is already. It's like come on.
yeah, you're like
Especially up in
walking down
Canada,
the aisle of like
we
a
got
department
nothing to look
store
forward.
looking.
Yeah, we got nothing to look forward to in November. You can sell Christmas for 2 months. Like really, you need to sell it now. I mean, to be fair, I guess Halloween starts in July.
Like you walk down a fucking department store looking for like really creepy fucking Halloween decorations, and the first thing you hear as you walk through that aisle is like fucking not Mary, Mariah Carey.
All I want for Christmas is you.
Okay, wait. There's actually this really funny meme I remember. Okay, so you know the Batman slap meme?
Yes.
So there was like this really funny meme where like there was a it was like in the same format, but it was like the one who was playing Robin was like Mariah Carey. She was like, "All I want for Christmas," and then she gets slapped by Jack Skellington. And was like, "This is Halloween."
Yeah. I need to find. I need
That's
to
like
find a good excuse to do a me. I'm trying to think. I think this was from the. I don't know if it was from the Flash or something else, but there's this meme of this guy running away. He looks behind. He sees somebody and he starts screaming. He's like, "Ah!" I can just imagine him doing that, and then you see Mariah Carey coming. Oh,
and
yeah.
like I feel like
They even they
the
make
ones
fun
who are
of
like
like even Mariah Carey knows it's a meme. Like they made fun of it. Like last year there was a commercial where it's like Halloween spooky stuff and then they have Mariah Carey frozen in ice and then they unfreeze her and then everything just turns Christmassy again. It's just like God. It's like that's the only fucking song this millennia that has been popular. Like we God forbid anything else. And
so
that's the one thing
I
too.
also
All right.
I was gonna say like it also kind of reminds the Family Guy skit where like there's like a whole bunch of like Christmas carolers, but they're like they treat it like a zombie apocalypse. I don't know. I don't know if you
Happy
remember that one.
Yeah, I remember that. Happy birthday. Yeah, and then there's another one too from the early season of Family Guys. It's like, Merry Christmas, Jesus. I think, Happy birthday, Jesus. 7 made of milk and 6 made of milk.
But yeah, I this was basically my magnum opus for part one of Tune In Tomorrow, and hopefully part two would be just as enjoyable.
Yeah, it probably will be, but it's fun to this one, we need more memes, man. We need more memes out of these stuff, like the Squidward thing.
Oh God, Meanie, Squidward, and
Fuck 'em
fucking
all.
the Snow Patrol Police or the
Yeah.
Snow Police.
We call him Big Nose, Big Nose.
Yeah, I can imagine like one of the snowman police officers that says that. It's just like a long ass carrot.
Yeah. I don't know. Fester is the one with the big nose, though. God rest in peace. Rest in pepperonis. What is weird?
Now every time I hear that,
Yeah.
now every time I hear that, it just reminded of this one drawing I made. It was like it was like what would Jesus look like if he was a pizza, and I called him Jesus Crust.
What is it about getting older that you just feel like you need to do bad dad puns, right? It's just like it's just like fuck this game, this company, man. They just love their goddamn puns. It's like who they need a buy like they had to like part of the job description when you come into Pixel, just like, can you do puns? Do a pun now. Give me a
Yeah,
pun. Give me a punny.
I can imagine a scenario like they're like all like within like an interview table, and like the lead person there is just like he has his hands together and he leans his head on his hands. And he's just like, "Okay, so we read over your resume. It looks great. You seem capable of everything that we're looking for, but we have one important question. Tell us, or we have one important thing we want you to do. We want you to tell us your funniest joke." And that's what like that makes or breaks the application.
Yeah,
Because if they can
I
make like
said
a really
punny,
good
not
joke, they
funny.
get accepted.
I said punny, not funny. There's a big difference. You're a
And then like the person in the interview would be like, what's the one plant you should always be watchful over? An ambush. And then like the fucking head is, God damn it, that was funny. You're hired.
You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch, you're hired.
Give that man a raise. We'll call this, like, we'll have Curly say, ghouls want to have fun. Give this man a raise. God, I don't know who decided to think that was a great idea to bring Pixel into the meme lore. Like that yeah, okay, we can withdraw to the extent that it's like I fucking hate how this whole series has turned into like this like contradiction, because originally we are like, oh, it's stuck in the 90s, like the internet. What's the internet, right? Like this kind of like, well, it's technographical like type stuff, and you got fucking Mayfield holding the old tiny cell phones, right? Like in the 90s, you see those big ass brick ones, right? But then all of a sudden, you
Yeah.
just fucking get characters like, nah, we have modern cell phones, or just recording things like the fucking twins there. And then there's like recently, it's like, oh yeah, Pixel mobile games. Like, fuck off. We're living in 2020. Okay, good. We're in this. Let's fuck the
Let's not
timeline.
forget, of course,
Yeah,
it's supposed to be
fuck the
based in the
timeline.
90s, but let's also not forget that they had it based on Goosebumps 2.
Yeah.
And that doesn't take place in the 90s.
Well, whatever.
Whatever.
It's better. It
You
was
know
better
I'm
in the
right.
movies, apparently, from what I understand.
What?
Apparently, the Halloween update was better than the actual movie it's based off of.
I mean, I enjoyed both, but then again, I'm just like eating that brewer slop, you know.
It's funny too. God. I'm just reminded of it's just like the Adams did something similar with the second like when they did the sequel movie update. They had it so it's like like if you didn't see the movie, it doesn't spoil anything. It's kind of like, oh, here's some element, like basic, like as long as you like if you see the trailer, then basically the gist of the stuff. Like it kind of go as far as deep into that, but it's kind of like you like if you watch the movie, like oh, the things, right? But they don't go into details. Like they kind of keep it so that it doesn't spoil anything. But this game earlier on, they're like, nah, fuck it. The fuck the watching the movie. We'll tell you the story right here, right now. This is all you need to know.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Yeah, fuck it, we're doing it live.
Yeah. Just to remind, the one last thing. I just reminded now of there was a girl who, it was this meme where they're two girls, it's supposed to be news anchors, right? She's like, she's just waiting for her turn, right? She's like, I'm so pale. And the girl's like, you're on. And then immediately she just goes into professional mode. It's just like, in today's forecast. Like, this ignores the fact that happened.
I'm so pale.
You're on it.
Today's snow is crippling much of the Washington lowlands.
I'm so pale. They're actual human beings like me.
I don't know why, but for some reason I'm reminded of a really video from like several years ago, back in like the early days of YouTube.
I think I
You
remember.
remember do you remember the Shoe song?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going somewhere else, but no. I think I'm vaguely trying to recall it.
Okay, I forgot who made the video, but they were like they were dressed up as like a character named Kelly,
Yeah.
and he was like he was like singing like shoes, shoes, shoes. Oh my god, shoes. Let's get some shoes. Let's get some shoes.
Shoes. Shoes. Shoes. Oh my god, shoes.
You remember that song?
I'm starting to remember it. It's been so long though, but oh god.
That's like the first thing I remembered. I don't know why, but it was like a really funny song. I love it. It's like, let's get some shoes.
I don't know why.
These shoes rule. These shoes suck. These shoes rule. These shoes suck. Shoes. Shoes. Oh my god, shoes. These shoes rule. These shoes suck. These shoes suck. These shoes suck.
I'm just reminded of one last I keep on saying this, but it never ends. It's just never ends.
Even you know the cycle.
There's always
Like, oh yeah, this is
there's one
one
more
other
thing. There's
thing I
always one more
remember.
thing. It
This
never
is
ends.
probably the last time.
Never ends with you. But with the new stuff, it just reminded of that one. Like, you remember that girl who hurt herself?
Which one?
There was one in the news report where basically there was like this, I guess, grape stomping, like making wine contest thing, and she decides to go ahead, like, okay, go, and then she just falls off the because she was on a little, like, it was on a platform, right? So she fell. I want to say at least maybe a meter or half a meter off the ground or something like that. And then she falls down. She obviously hurt herself, but the way she was kind of like, oh, 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 oh.
Hey, stop! Oh, stop! Oh, 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 I can't, ow, 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 oh, stop, oh, stop, oh, 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 I can't breathe, stop.
I don't think
The
I've
Family
seen
Guy
that
made
one.
fun of this too, with Stewie doing that. Oh, 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 oh,
Stop! Uh-huh. Oh! 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 Ow, 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 oh, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Ow, 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 ow.
yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Really, I'm surprised. It's well known, I think.
I might have seen it, but it might have been like so long I don't even fucking
It's
remember.
it's probably back in the 2000s, so yeah, it's like one of those early ones, and it was real awkward too because the news people were like, "Oh wow, I hope she's okay."
Ooh, oh gosh, I hope he's all right.
Well, we'll have to send someone to make sure that he is.
Earthquake! There's an earthquake! They always bring that up every time it's like a fat guy jumps in. It's like boom, but the earthquake. There's an earthquake. I was like, oh yeah, because he's fat. Yeah, man. I don't know why, but I just love like this weird stuff we come up with and the weird stuff we talk about. Just it never ends. But unfortunately,
Oh yeah,
I feel like it has to end.
that's what this podcast is all about. It's all about unleashing the chaos while sprinkling in some Goosebumps
As
stuff in.
Curly says, a content creator and artist come up with wild ideas. We'll talk about whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a great narrator. Yes, it's a great narrator. Right. So, I guess part one to our part three Christmas extravaganza is ending, I guess.
Extravaganza.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else we should add to this or if we're.
No. I think we should probably end this before it goes
Yeah.
too long.
Okay, we'll end it and then we'll talk offline because this is too good. But this is what happens, folks. We just do a little thing and then we talk everything outside of this podcast. But I guess with that in
Oh,
mind,
there goes Graham breaking the immersion again.
shut up.
Hulk smash the fourth wall.
And then fourth wall breaks. Yeah. Anyway,
Hulk smash the fourth wall.
at least it's not fifth dimension breaking. I think it would be really terrified at that point to just come out of the screen and be like, ah! Come in here.
God,
Get over here. Anyways, yeah.
Looking like something on a fucking Pibby.
Oh God. That show is not even coming into the front. It's like, it's like what, like we have copyright problems. What do you mean copyright problems? You're fucking Cartoon Network. You own all that shit. What the fuck do you mean copyright problems?
Well, it turns out that, cutting off a lot of their animation studios, actually.
Yeah, I know this. I mean, some of I think, what was it? DreamWorks Studios has closed their shop and then moving all their stuff up in Canada because it's cheaper up there. Because of course it is, right? It's like,
damn, we're cheap. That kind of hurts.
Our money. Look, here's the thing: what costs $1 million down there is less money up here. So it's still like they're still paying the same amount of price, but it's like, oh, we're saving on money because our American money is better than our Canuck money, our famous Monopoly money. I still love
Sorry,
it.
penny bags, but your money is cheap.
Well, joke's on you. We don't even play with our money. We have cards. I love when tourists come up here. They're like, "What the fuck? Where's the bag?" It's like you don't got one. You got to use it with these cards. Everyone pays with like fucking debit cards up here. No one pays with
Well, yeah,
cash.
that's because ever since like COVID hit, like that's all I've been using is just my card.
I've always been using my card. It's funny too because it's like no one gets like robbed anymore because it's like, what are you gonna do? All right, here's my card. It's not like I'm gonna cancel it as soon as we get there. I don't
Yeah,
have any
right. It's
physical
like,
money
yeah,
in.
go ahead and take my card. I'm totally not gonna cancel it or anything. No, no, you're fine. You're
It,
fine.
it's
And
like
then just like as soon as like the robber leaves, he just pulls out his cell phone, like, "Hi, I want to cancel a card."
it's like a yeah, it's like a Canadian joke with like a guy robs a bank and they laugh at him. It's just like, what do you mean? We don't have any money here. It's like, all right, then whatever. It's like, like we're in debt. It's like, okay, fine,
Actually,
I'm making a
that
camp.
was actually a premise from one of the modern Looney Tunes shows.
Yeah,
Because I remember when like um uh Yosemite Sam would try to rob a bank, but there was only like this singular ATM machine and Bugs was at it.
yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
like trying to rob the ATM and like, oh, well, you can't rob this ATM. You need the connection to the internet. It's like, what's the internet? And it goes on and like all this other random hijinks, and he starts digging a hole to find the internet. And I think he ends up in like I don't know, it was like a underground subway or some shit, or like a prison cell or something.
Yeah, of course. I can
It
totally
was
see
one of
that.
those.
All right.
I remember that a little bit.
I
I
remember
really don't like how they designed him though. It looks weird.
for the newer Looney Tunes show, you mean?
Yeah, like the way they designed Yosemite Sam, it just looks unsettling, really.
I know there was a thing that
It's
one
like
of
if it's kind of like if Grizzlebeard became a little person and decided to take up armed robbery instead
yeah,
of
yeah,
just like ruining Christmas.
yeah. I don't know why. I'm just like the same cartoon series. I think there was a joke where Bugs ate too much and then he ended up deflating. And it's like, oh, I don't eat you now. You're not gonna eat me, Doc. You better wear me. Wear me, Doc. Wear me. Look beautiful.
It wasn't those cartoons. It was like more of the weird stylized ones from like the Wabbit series. I don't know if you remember those.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. Okay, I thought you were talking about the the old classic but new class. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
no,
No,
I'm not talking about those. No,
the Wabbit ones.
I'm talking about the one where like Bugs Bunny was like also like is like neighbors to like Wile E. Coyote.
The Looney Tunes show, you mean?
No, not the Looney Tunes show. That show was fucking goated as hell.
Oh, of course it is. Great show.
Like I'm talking about like Wabbit.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so
The same like
didn't they have a villain character there like it was a French fox or something like that? I think I vaguely remember
yeah,
something.
I remember that. I just
Yeah.
I don't remember her. I think it was like a yeah, it was a she if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was I don't know what it was supposed to. Oh, you know what it was? It was that it's supposed to be a spy thing and he grabbed the wrong bag
Yeah,
because yeah, and that was she was trying to get the bag. So, and her gimmick is
yeah.
that she has wigs, so she keeps doing different wigs or something like. Yeah, yeah. They're trying to make a good, interesting character out of that. I mean, whatever. Not like Lola Bunny that they try to. That's a thing I don't get. It's just like, hold that thought. We should end this. We're doing it again. All right, folks. Sorry, we're keeping you on here. So we always end it with a clip. Here's a teaser for part 2 to the part 3 for the series of Christmas. So here we go. It's a song. So there you go. It's playing right now, I think, and I think you know what it is. It's from Courage.
Oh, that's the one that the whole cat is, right?
No, something else entirely. But if you're hearing this, you know what it is. You might know what it is. If you're familiar with Courage the Cowardly Dog, then of course there it is. So that's a teaser of what's coming up for my special Christmas episode, and then in January you're going to hear the last part to this, and then also that will be the season finale. We're coming close to our season finale, like a series, not series, but season finale, because season 2 will start in January. So every year is a season. So have fun with that. But yeah, we'll see you in December after this or so. But yeah, that's it for now. So we'll talk more about stuff in a moment. But I've been Grim.
And I've been Maximilian Pegasus. Woo! That sounds a little bit more like James from Pokemon. I can hear that.
And that's a wrap.
Bye, Yugi boy. See ya. See, you didn't steal it this time.
Okay, yeah.